All right, guys, welcome. I got Nathan and Chris in the studio today. It's been a while. You're off your crutches, so we shouldn't hear any crashing.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
you shouldn't hear any loud bangs and sound like we're taking people out.
That's
And
right.
now that we've got video, they'll see everything that's going on.
That's right.
I appreciate you guys coming in, man. How are y'all doing?
Awesome.
Doing well.
Doing
Awesome. Day after the 4th.
Yeah, dude.
Walking around, it's good.
Yeah. What did y'all do?
Didn't even have a hangover this
Didn't even
morning. I
have-
got up and went to work this morning.
Yeah,
so.
me too. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but I had to. But no, it was crazy. I went for a ride. Did 300 plus miles on the Harley yesterday
Oh, wow.
Holy
by
cow.
myself.
Damn, dude.
Yeah,
That's a rough day to do it. That was
I'll-
a big travel day yesterday.
man. Only thing I ran into that was a problem was rain. I
Yeah.
was chasing rain. And rain was chasing me.
Rain was
Yeah.
chasing you.
And I went all over Central Alabama, all the way up into Tennessee, and then back.
We had some rain on
Holy
the boat
cow.
yesterday.
Oh shit!
It wasn't too bad. It was just a little storm came through. We pulled in some random boathouse and we pulled in there. There was another boat already in there.
Just
I
hanging
started
out.
pulling up. I saw this guy running over there. And I was like, oh, shit, what's this guy doing? And he goes, oh, y'all get in here, man. Y'all get in here. I pulled in. His boat was sitting right beside mine.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, it was
Where'd
good.
y'all Smith or?
No, we went to Inland Lake.
Oh, that's right.
It's a lake we always go to. It's out by Chris's house near Aniana.
Oh, that's
yeah.
where that
It's
fucking
actually
alligator's
all
at.
good. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
alligators.
Mhm.
I was actually talking to the sheriff, when you go there. It's part of the Birmingham Reservoir.
Uh-huh.
So when you go there, you have to check in with the sheriff's deputy.
Really?
Yeah, you got to show your license. It's a $5 launch fee. Everybody in your party that's of age has to show their driver's license, and they write them all down. And I asked him, I said, is the Department of Natural Resources going to do anything about these gators out here? He said, hell, they're the ones that put them in here.
Yeah.
They've been out there since the 60s, dude.
Yeah.
He said
I
there's
didn't
probably
know that.
7 of them that are 10 feet long out there.
Yeah, they did them for beavers or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, beavers and
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've lived up that way all my life and never knew that.
Well, I saw.
I saw the picture of the one that was looked like a Tarzan movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Holy
The
shit.
one that's in the picture, he said that one's probably 9 feet, and he said there's probably 6 or 7 more in there that are that size.
Do you know how many people's probably swam in that lake, not thinking nothing about
I
it?
swim in there all the time. I swam in there this weekend.
Oh, shit.
Yesterday, yeah. I mean,
Dude.
he said there's never been a problem, never been an attack, never been an incident. So the only thing that he knows of
There's
is
two people missing.
a guy was fishing. No, a guy was fishing, and he tried to get close to the gator, and he hit it with his trolling motor. And when he did, the gator swung his head around and dented the side of his boat.
No shit.
Yeah, aluminum boat.
Wow.
I bet he did. That pissed me off too. You hit me with a trolling motor.
Hell yeah.
That's crazy since
That's
the
nuts, isn't it?
60s, man. So
Yeah.
you're talking what? How many
know.
years we're talking?
50-year-old gator,
50-year-old?
60-year-old gator. And they
Wow.
live 100 plus years, I guess. They live a good long time.
Damn.
Well, now I guess as they've kind of proliferated a little bit, you're probably going to be seeing more of them. Probably.
Probably.
Surely they'll have to clean them out a little bit. I
They
mean,
were-
if he-
yeah, the guy
if-
was pretty pissed about them making a big deal out of it because he sent it to AL.com, and
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
posted, they did an article about
yeah,
it.
that's where I saw it.
Yeah, and the sheriff's deputy was like, man, he said the week after that, there was people out here, where's the gators? We want to see the gators. He's like, yeah,
Well, people are stupid.
people are stupid.
It's all new marketing ploy, though. T-shirts and hats. I mean, I would be doing something.
Yeah.
They're missing out on something.
Yeah.
I survived Inland Lake.
Yeah,
That's
and they're-
right.
But what about the people that live on it? And it's like, nobody told me that they have fucking alligators. in this
Nobody
place.
lives there, man.
No, really?
They have.
I thought
from
I
what-
saw some cabins on some
There,
Google
there
Earth.
are some cabins, but from what I understand, all the cabins are rental cabins, or you rent the lot. You can own the structure, but you can never own the property.
Right.
The county owns the property, and they do 99-year leases.
Oh, okay.
So there's some really nice cabins, especially on the dam end, of the lake.
Well, Smith Lake's like that too. You can't own really so much past the water line.
Oh yeah, they got an easement there.
Yeah.
Yeah, TVA properties like that too.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
speaking of crazy stuff, I wanted to get into, we did a thing on Sasquatch,
Right, right.
on the show, and Nathan was telling me I didn't realize that Nathan and his son had Sasquatch experience, and I want you to tell the damn story.
I have not heard this story either. So
This-
I've had 3 kind of unexplainable. I'm not saying it was definitely a Sasquatch, but I've had 3 incidents where some unexplainable shit happened.
Mhm.
So the first one, I was living in Winfield, which is in Marion County,
Mhm.
on my junior year of high school, and me and a buddy went out to a creek area where they called it the Point or something like that. It was like a kind of a high bank on a creek where it comes out and the creek wraps around, so you're kind of out on this point. And we walked out there, and we were going to meet up with some other kids right after school. and we're kind of just standing there chilling out. And all of a sudden, this huge rock just hits the water, boom, right in the creek, splash. You know, and I was like, "What the hell was that?" And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and we're like, "What the hell's going on?" And then about 10 seconds later, 100 yards down the creek the other way, another one, boom, in the water. I was like, holy shit. So then the guy I'm with starts screaming, "I've got a gun, I'll shoot your ass," thinking it's somebody messing with us out there. And these weren't small pebbles, man. These were,
Big rocks.
yeah, size of your chest, like big rock. Like if somebody would have thrown that, they would have been probably 10 feet away from us, And so then, I'm like, be quiet, just listen. And so we're standing there, and then like 3 or 4 more, just boom, 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 all up and down the creek, man. I mean, within about 100 yard distance, from us. And we hauled ass. We got the hell out of there. It really scared me, man. It was
no
crazy.
shit.
It was crazy.
Especially when you're saying it's good
big
size.
rocks.
Big
I'm not
rock.
talking, I don't even mean like a head-sized stone. I mean like, if you were to pick this rock up, I mean, it would probably be a 50-pound rock.
Damn.
I mean, you couldn't throw it probably 10 feet.
You would definitely think that you could have saw who tossed it.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
Couldn't see anything. Scared the hell out of us. So we got out of there in a hurry.
No
so
shit.
Yeah. So, for people that don't know, the Sipsey Wilderness is right there close to Winfield. It's in, part of it's in Marion County, I believe. I know part of the Bankhead is there in Marion County. It's pretty desolate up that way. There's not a whole lot when you get outside of those little towns like Hubbardville and Guin and Hamilton, up in that area. It's pretty desolate in between those little towns. But so I used to go hiking a lot in the Sipsey Wilderness, and we used to hang out there, camp there all the time, do a little rock climbing there and stuff. But the second experience I had was me and 2 of my friends were camping out at the Sipsey, and so it's late at night, and we were, maybe under the influence of some substances or whatever, but I'm
All
pretty
natural.
All natural.
I'm sure.
But I'm pretty clear on what happened here. So we're taking these big sticks and hitting them against a tree to break them, break them up for firewood. We didn't have a machete or a hatchet or anything, so we're packing pretty light. We're in there for 3 or 4 days, but so we're hitting several of these sticks, for a couple hours, banging sticks against a tree trying to break up for firewood. And we had a pretty good fire going. So me and one of the guys walk up the hill, and the Sipsey it's in a giant sandstone canyon, and you can't see one canyon wall from one side to the other because of the trees are so thick in there. There's I mean, it's just unbelievable how thick vegetated it is in there. But but we walked up away from the fire probably 100 yards up towards one of the bluffs, and we're sitting there in the pitch black dark, looking down the hill at the fire, and we're just sitting there in silence. And all of a sudden, I hear something run up behind us, something on 2 feet, boom, 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 and just stops right behind us. And I mean, it wasn't a small animal. I mean, it could have been a deer bounding through the woods, but if you've ever been around, a horse or a cow, when they run and hit the ground, it was that kind of noise. I mean, it was a thud when it hit the ground. And it ran right up behind us, and me and him looked at each other and just went tumbling down the hill back towards the fire as fast as we could go in the pitch black. That scared the shit out of me.
Well, my question is, what the hell
2.
was you doing walking 100 yards in the pitch black to go look at your fire?
It was
from
just
a distance?
cool, man. I mean, we just walked up the hill. I mean, like I said,
fire,
there
man.
may or may not have been some substances involved. But we just decided to wander up the hill, I mean, you could kind of see the glow going up the hill from the fire. We got up there until it was just totally black, and we're sitting on a rock and just chilling out.
I've been scared of a damn rattlesnake's what I've been thinking about.
Yeah, true. I wasn't thinking about that at the time. But yeah, so that was our second experience, and that was pretty wild. That really scared me. And then number 3, I'd totally forgotten about until Chris and Eli and I were talking about this the other day. But me and Eli were doing a raft or a kayaking trip through the Sipsey. So we started at Thompson Creek Trailhead. We put in there. We floated down Thompson Creek until there's another creek that comes in, and it joins the Sipsey River right there. The headwaters of the Sipsey River are right there, and the Sipsey River is actually what feeds Smith Lake.
Oh, okay.
So, so we were just past where the Sipsey River begins, and there was a spot I was trying to find called the Needle's Eye. It's a big hole in the rock. It's a hole in a cliff face, and you can go from one side of the cliff to the other. But if you don't, you have to walk like a half a mile down and turn and come back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was trying to find the Needle's Eye, and we had parked our kayaks on the creek bank and walked up the hill, and all of our stuff was down there. And so we walked a couple of 100 yards up the hill towards the bluff, and it sounded like almost like somebody grabbed one of our kayak paddles and hit the kayak with it 2 or 3 times, just bam, bam, bam. It was so loud. I looked at Eli and I said, "Man, somebody's done there fucking with our stuff. We got to go." So we took running down towards the kayaks. Got back to the kayaks and nothing had moved. Nothing. Everything was in the same place.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's crazy.
But I told you I was telling my dad about my experiences in the Sipsey, and he told me they had seen a show that in the credits at the very end, it was all about Sasquatch in the Northwest and Kentucky, and they hit on all these places in the Midwest, and he said at the very end, it said that the Sipsey Wilderness has the most physical evidence anywhere in the world that Bigfoot actually exists. I don't know what that means, if that's hair samples or footprints or what. But.
Right. Well, it's kind of funny because I saw there's some group, and I mean, apparently I didn't know it until we had the Bigfoot hunter on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a groups that go out and
yeah,
and I thought that in Alabama, and I always thought to myself that was kind of funny. I guess when I think of that kind of stuff, I think of Pacific Northwest and all that good jazz like that. But apparently, it's a big following.
Yeah. Well, the Sipsey, I guess, has a lot of sightings, and it's 20. It's 20. The Sipsey is 22,000 acres of uncut timber, natural wilderness.
Damn.
Wow.
It still has hemlock trees in there. It's
shit.
the only stand of natural, I guess, native original hemlocks in the Southeast. I think there's some in North Carolina, but if you look at the Audubon tree map where hemlock, their natural habitat is, there's a big patch right where the Sipsey is on the map.
Well, there's some weird shit going on in Coleman, Warrior counties. Because I was riding my bike or riding the Harley Amber's bike yesterday, and I got caught in some rain right there in Coleman, and so I was right at 65, and I dipped into this little gas station, and so I pulled in, and of course I'm fairly wet, and I'm getting all my stuff off, kind of hang out underneath their gas thing. And I even got a drink or whatever. So I'm standing out there, and here's this guy just fucking walking down the road in the rain. He's got a sleeveless white shirt on. He's got his baseball cap on, a pair of shorts. And he's just, man, like he's on a mission. And he comes trucking up, and I'm watching him, and I'm kind of grinning because I'm wet, and I see he's wet, and he looks at me, and he's probably 30 yards from me. He starts smiling like, almost like, I'm
kinship.
Kinship. Yeah.
Right.
We got each other. And he comes up and he starts talking to me. And I wish I remember his name. He told me his name, but we talked for a while, and he was wound up, man. He started talking about this and that, talking about motorcycles, whatnot.
Crystal meth is a hell of a drug.
Well, he said that he doesn't do drugs anymore.
Shit.
And so
He's got enough sustained in his system.
Well,
I mean,
he started talking about fucking the devil and demon.
actually having intercourse with Satan.
No, he said Satan called him on the cell phone.
Oh my God!
And
That's the name of my new book.
Yeah, Satan called me. But he did. He said he was
RoboCall from
he was
Satan.
sitting there talking to his dad, I believe, and his cousin or whatever. And he said the phone rang. And this, you got to remember, I just met this guy, right? And he struck up a full on conversation.
I
with
like
me.
you.
Yeah, and so he's telling me all this stuff, and he said he was sitting there, and his cell phone rang, and he said, "This is why I found Jesus. I found God." And he said, when he answered the phone, it sounded like a friend of his. And so and he said, friend's like, "Hey, I'm coming up the road. Come on out." Blah 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 blah. And he said Satan was trying to get him to come outside. And he says when he went outside, the voice changed. And I'll probably screw up the story just like Amber said. I screw up the other story, but
Hey, it's what happened now.
It's what happened now.
That's all I know.
And so he's telling me that Satan was trying to get him to come down the road so he could kidnap him. He said he run back in and this and that, and he said he went back in. Phone rang again, and he answered the phone, and it sounded like his cousin, who was the little girl that was in there with him, sounded like her daughter crying, and so the girl could hear on the phone or something like that, was wanting. He was like, no, I kept her back and says, I told you, get out of here, Satan. And I'm just like, dude, he went wild with it. He told me some
That's
deep.
pretty
ass-
deep. I mean, for somebody you met like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it
pretty,
was. I mean, literally, we stood there for 10 minutes, and he went deep about. And he says now that he can see Jesus, but he sees him. He asked the guy, I only see him in the left eye of somebody, and the guy he asked somebody, and the guy told him because it's closest to your heart.
Wow.
Okay. We'll have to ask Coach Eric Paulson about that.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has an opinion on that.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense if you don't think about
I
it.
was like, dude, I just sat there and smiled, man. He hit me deep. I was like, I didn't even know how to respond. I just kind of did the whole head shake, but
He might have been your guardian angel, bro. He was probably keeping you there so you didn't get run over on the interstate.
he might have been, man.
That's what.
Well, he did say before he left, he goes, if I just save one person's life in life, I feel like I've done my job.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
It's like a
weird
David
shit.
Lynch movie.
Yeah, there's some weird shit goes on up in around Coleman
man.
and Warrior, man. I'm telling you, you gotta watch out.
Well, now that everybody's, I say everybody, the trend now with therapy, a lot of people are microdosing LSD.
Is that really?
They're doing microdosing for like PTSD and stuff. They're doing this little microdoses supposed to help guys kind of work through that. So, the thought, process guys that did mind altering substances like that were supposed to put you closer in touch with the ether and
Well, some of the gummies now, CBD gummies and stuff like that. Apparently, listen to some other shows and listen to some different guys. Like some of them are damn hallucinogenic if you get the right ones. Like out in I can't remember. They called them certain levels, and you're only supposed to eat like a half a gummy. And I'm thinking, if you're only supposed to eat half a gummy, why not make a gummy that size? You know what I'm saying? And
you're only supposed to eat half, but you can eat 3.
yeah, and supposedly push you over the edge.
Wow.
So,
Interesting.
That's
cool, man.
So, but I was thinking about, you said something about your dad got it.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
The other night, he was, when was that, last Sunday? He lives in Black Mountain, North Carolina, and he frequents this watering hole called the Pisgah Brewery, and they have live music every Sunday. And he went there, and he said that there's been some weird shit going on with these 2 chicks he knows, and the one chick was selling T-shirts and stuff at the show and had these other 2 girls there helping her, and all of a sudden, as soon as people started coming, she just took off. As soon as people started showing up, she was the one that was in charge, and it was her stuff. She took off, and then she came back right after the crowd died down, and the other girls didn't know what was going on, so they were doing the best they could, handling the money and prices and all that. I mean, it wasn't even their merchandise,
Right.
So, so the one girl was telling my dad this story at the brewery. It happened that night, and when the girl came back, she had written out a list of things that she wanted those other 2 girls to steal from the brewery. Had handed them a list. I want you to put this in the boxes when we get ready to leave. We're taking this stuff with us.
What?
That table right over there.
That table.
It's weird.
That piece of artwork right there.
It's weird. I mean, I don't know what all
That
was
guy's
on the list.
prosthetic leg.
But the girl,
Absolutely got to have that leg.
the girl who had gotten left there at the merchandise counter to deal with everything was talking to my dad later on in the night and said she's been really weird here lately, that she had opened up a portal by fucking with Ouija boards and shit at her house, and that she had a demon living at her house. And the girl was telling my dad that she's demon possessed, and this demon follows her around and stays at her house.
No shit.
Really? Really.
Well, Miranda, the ghost hunter we had on, she says she won't fuck with the Ouija boards.
Yeah.
She won't fuck with that shit at all.
And so they're dabbling in the occult or whatever, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, they're just crunchy ass hippies up there in Asheville, But I mean, I don't know, it's something on the other side or whatever. But that girl said that, or my dad said that girl was gonna try to exorcise that demon out of that girl's house.
And shit, she may bite off more than she can chew.
Yeah. So he talked to her. He talked to her this week and said that she had. Yeah, he talked to her this week, and the girl said that she had been to the house and done some sage swiping or whatever that is, the sage brush cleansing and everything, smudging. It's called. And she had done some smudging and said some things and pissed the demon off, and now the demon's following her around and trying to get at her.
Oh God.
Yeah, so it's kind of a weird story, and
Yeah, you don't want to fuck around.
believe what you will, but so my dad was on his way home that night last Sunday from the brewery. He
Right.
had 3 beers the whole time he was there. He was there 3 or 4 hours. Had 3 beers. Said he stopped at a stoplight on his bike. He was riding his BMW bike, and it's not a big bagger. It's a little sport bike. It's a little lightweight. I mean, it's probably a 350-pound bike, maybe.
Sure.
He said, I mean, my dad's been riding bikes he's been riding street bikes since he was like 12 years old. I mean, he's got a lot of experience on bikes. Never dropped a street bike in his life. He said all of a sudden he stops at the stoplight. Boom, he's laying on the ground. He doesn't know how it happened, doesn't know what happened, and he fell over to the right side, which is weird because the brake is on the right side, and if you pull up to a stoplight and you're on the rear brake, you lean to the left almost every time.
Yeah.
He's on the right side, right?
Damn.
He looked at his clock and 4 hours had went by.
Oh yeah. No
the bike is on the ground, and he's like standing there trying to figure out what happened, and he's thinking, oh shit, somebody's going to call the cops. And I mean, keep in mind he only had 3 beers, so he should be okay, but he's super paranoid about drinking and driving or whatever. He went to pick the bike up, couldn't pick it up, couldn't get it off the ground. Tried to pick it up 3 or 4 times. He said he even turned around backwards and got down on the ground and put his butt up against the seat, pushed it with everything he had, couldn't get the bike to stand up. He said this big strong Lebesian woman pulled up and got out of her car and went over there, and as soon as she touched the bike, he picked it right up off the ground. So she didn't even pull on it. She didn't even help him. He was just fighting it, had it like almost halfway up. She walked on the other side of it and touched the handlebar. As soon as she touched the handlebar, he stood the bike right up.
Damn. That's some crazy
she
shit.
Said, he said he looked at her and said, "You're an angel." She said, "What do you need, baby?" He said, "Just hold it. Let me get on it." He threw his leg over it, hit the starter, it fired right up, and he took off. And he went to a restaurant and ate, and here's where it gets kind of crazy too.
Okay.
He went to a restaurant
and
ate. When he was leaving the restaurant, the cops were set up outside the restaurant, like right down the street, had a roadblock waiting on him. Because there was one way down, like down that street where the restaurant was. They had already ran his tag, knew who he was, and they said that he had some kind of record as far as manufacturing oils, ganja oils and gummies and stuff like that, manufacturing illegal marijuana edibles and shit.
Right.
He's like, that's not me. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So they snagged him right there, gave him a breathalyzer. He blew a .09. Legal limit is .08.
Oh,
he blew .01 over.
Oh.
And the cop said, this is your lucky day. He said, if you can find a ride home, we won't take you to jail. And there was another woman there, said, if I was in charge, and I should be tonight, but I'm not. If I was in charge, man, you'd be going downtown.
Damn.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
That is pretty crazy. What a shit night.
But the other guy was there, and the other guy was being real respectful, and they had a rapport or whatever back and forth, and everything was good. And so he pushed his bike off to the side of the road, pushed it over in a parking lot of somebody he knows who owns a business or whatever right there, and left it sitting overnight. And the girls that he was talking to at the brewery came and picked him up.
Oh, no joke.
They went back to one of their places, and it was the 2 girls that were left at the brewery, left at the merch counter to sell all the stuff while the crazy girl went off and did her thing.
So it wasn't going back to the demon house, was it?
No, they went back to the other girl's house.
Okay.
This was before she went in and tried to exorcise the demon.
Oh, shit. The demon.
Say, Doug, we want you to come with us.
Yeah. So he called that girl, he called one of those girls and said, look, I'm in a bind. I need you to come get me. I'm going to leave my bike here. If I can't get a ride, they're going to take me to jail. And so they came and got him, took him back. And that's when they continued to expound on the other girl's business and what was going on with her. And Dad was like, I just can't handle it. It's just too much.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was telling Miranda, I've only had 2, weird shit happen in my life. And one was down in Ocala, Florida, that house that was haunted.
Yeah.
And then one after Mark died, I was walking down the hallway at the other building down there.
I heard that on the
and I felt him come up, but he wasn't there. But I told her, sometimes your mind can play some weird shit on you. Because it was like, I think it was 2 or 3 days after he passed away, but we had not gone to the funeral yet.
Yeah.
So it was weird shit. But you never know, man. Some weird shit goes down.
And my dad's very susceptible to the other side.
I always say,
He's very open
I
to
told
it.
Miranda this. I said, look, you conjure any shit up going on here, they either got to pay rent or clean house. One of the two. But Eric's big into that
Oh,
stuff.
he is, man. When you were talking about it because we'll occasionally you can't not talk about it when you're around Eric because he's always, we'll be doing like a group picture and he'll come up to you and say, "Do you see that aura? It's around." So, and he'll go to talk to somebody and say, "So, have you had a death in your family in the
Well,
last?"
didn't he do that to? God, he's gonna hate me. I can't remember his name, but I can't remember anybody's name. By the way, I kept calling Mike Offit Matt the other day,
did you really?
and he goes, "It's Mike," and I'm like, "I know that. I don't know why I'm calling you Matt."
You know that guy for like 2 years.
I know. I was like, I just looked at him. I'm horrible. I'm the fucking worst. I mean,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Well, I mean, it's all
But-
right. The name Matt's okay.
Yeah, but it is
It's a
okay.
jiu-jitsu school.
But it wasn't his name.
Wasn't his name.
But what's his name that used to train with us, and after he had a little girl, he quit. But wasn't his wife standing there taking
yeah.
a picture?
You're absolutely correct.
Some weird
Ricky,
shit.
Ricky Patterson.
Ricky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ricky. Yeah, Ricky.
Yeah.
His wife was taking the picture. Didn't
Yeah.
he ask her
Mhm.
and her?
She had a death in her family.
Yeah, and
or
she
something. Yeah.
recently had, and he said she's standing next, or the person standing next to you.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
man.
not everybody knows this, but they were looking at him. He had actually filmed a couple of episodes of this show. Well, he's done a couple of little things. He did almost like a bully beatdown thing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
You may have seen the little thing. Anyway, there's
see.
actually a trailer for that. Years ago, he did one of those before Bully Beatdown was on MTV.
Oh, really?
But anyway, he had this show, and these guys it was going to call it Ghost Fighter. And so he was going to go into these houses, kind of like, the ghost hunter guy, but he was going to go in and
Challenge motherfuckers to a fight.
Well, I don't know.
Whip some
He
ghost
said
ass.
he wasn't comfortable trying to exercise these ghosts out, and he said it was very draining. They did a couple of little things with it, and he said, I just can't do this because he's very susceptible. He was talking about he was over in the UK doing some seminars, and he was staying at this guy's house. And he said, I couldn't sleep. He said the bed felt like it was just, it was just uncomfortable. And he said, and then the bed moved all the way across the room when he was on it.
Holy
and,
fuck.
he's just so susceptible to that
I
stuff.
wouldn't be able to sleep either.
No shit.
No, he said, man, it was awful. But he said, the transcendental meditation, the TM, as they call it, where people, they do astral projection and stuff like, they'll go into a meditative state and they'll visualize, or their psyche will travel to somewhere else. And even the U.S. government did some stuff with that back in the 60s.
Yeah, they made a cool ass movie, Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yeah, and but anyway, where they could see
That's remote viewing.
remote, yeah,
Yeah.
But it was through the astral projection thing.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah.
they would do it, and so they were wondering where all these like missiles might have been and things. But he says you got to be careful when you do that, that TM, because what it does when you leave, you have to do these things, because when you leave your body, it opens it up so that other things can come in.
Yeah.
So he said people don't really think of that. He said you can't play around with that. He says if you're in it and you're actually feel like you're doing that, he said if you believe in that, which he does, but if you're into that, why wouldn't you think that something could? There's things that you can do to kind of protect your home, I guess, while you're out.
Oh, God.
But yeah, he was telling me, I thought, well, that makes a lot of sense, man. But he's really an interesting dude.
People are into some weird shit, and I think about what you were just talking about, Hicks and Gracie was talking about, when he started doing his breathing exercise and meditation, and I think, and I'll probably fuck it up, but he said whoever that was teaching him how to do it said that he just woke up he was sitting there, face to face with a guy. They were sitting there Indian style or whatever, yoga style or whatever, and they're doing the breathing, deep breathing. And he woke up and he was clear across the damn room or something, standing on the thing, and the guy was just staring at him, and he says, "There's nothing else I can teach you." I mean, I guess he'd went to that deep of a thing. So I don't know, man. I've never been. I'm too lazy. I can't go into all kind of stuff like that. That's learning too much. I already got too much other shit going on.
It's pretty wild, man.
If I could figure out how to summon a bunch of landscapers and project guys, man, I'd be all in.
Ghost landscapers.
Yeah, I need some ghost landscapers.
You guys work,
Yeah, I'll make sure the thing's full of gas and all the things are.
Right.
I need some around the house assistant.
Take care of everything in the physical realm.
Yeah.
Make sure it's ready to go.
Ready to go, man. I'll have it loaded up and ready to
Just
go.
get it done.
Man, what my neighbors think if they saw out there, saw a damn lawnmower running around out there by itself, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to work anymore.
Yeah, no.
You'd get enough.
Hell no. But that's crazy, man. What else is going on besides ghosts and other stuff?
Well, when you were talking about the Sasquatch stuff, I was thinking back in the 80s. It was about 1 or 2 in the morning. I was driving home from Locust Fork, and I was on the back roads over there. And, there's been talk about, like panthers and stuff. This is a long time ago, and, but you don't ever really, at that time, you never really saw anything. And I was driving along, and I was not under the influence of anything. And I was just driving along. And what appeared to be a Black Panther went in front, just crossed the road and just crept across the road in front of me. I'm like, holy shit, it like scared me. And then my mom, she said, I was out on the porch and I hear this, noise. And I was like, oh shit, that was up on the mountain.
That was pretty good,
That
actually.
sounded awesome, man.
that was a very good impersonation.
That was just off the off the cuff.
I'm gonna save that for a sound bite.
I've been working on mine, but I'm not there yet.
Well, like I said, I thought you might. We're going to do maybe the Sasquatch noise. I wasn't sure exactly what that was. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
thought
that's up for interpretation. I
that's
think.
true. So it can work on that.
The only noise I heard was a paddle hitting a kayak.
And a rock hitting the water.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
enough.
So what'd you do? Did you just
I was just
lock
I
it up?
stopped. Yeah, I locked it up, and I was like,
Yeah.
Well,
I think I had told that that happened out in Bessemer. A guy was coming into work one early morning, and he saw the same thing.
Mm.
He thought he wasn't awake yet, fully awake, and he thought he was all fucked up, like sleepy eyed or something. He rounded a bend, and this fucking cat jumped off this little embankment down to the ground. He said it was big as shit.
Yeah.
And it was black.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, "What the fuck?" He thought he saw a small cat, but it must have been a small cat thinking it was a big cat or whatever. And
This was large. This
Yeah.
was like a decent sized dog.
yeah,
And
creeping on
Yeah.
down.
Creep mode.
yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just like,
Well,
It blows me away. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say you live pretty remote. You
Yeah.
surely have seen some weird shit.
well, I mean, you hear stuff. We have coyotes are really the thing up
Oh,
our
they're
way.
wicked at night when they get to howling
Yeah.
and
They're in
screaming.
Mount Brook. You see the somebody in Mountain Brook on their little Ring camera for
Uh-huh.
their doorbell thing. 2 coyotes in Mountain Brook come up on the porch trying to get a cat.
Wow.
And it's on I think it was on AL.com, but they just posted that up today. And what was funny though is the cat really didn't have any fear at first. I think the cat kind of looked at them like just a couple dogs, and then it realize, oh shit, those aren't just dogs, and then
Yeah.
arched up and it took off.
Yeah.
But they said the cat was okay.
I saw one getting off the interstate at Grants Mill the other day, getting off 459 at Grants Mill,
That's
right in front of that car dealership that's got that
Mhm.
ridiculous, absurd. You've seen it at night, that huge sign that lights up.
Oh yeah.
If you're listening, turn that shit down, bro. You're gonna cause an accident. That shit is not cool.
I think that's Tom Williams.
Yeah, they need to come off of that shit at night, man. It's
Yeah.
dangerous. It flashes like red and then
It's
white
dangerous
and
for
then red and then
airplanes.
white.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's
dangerous for
freaking
airplanes.
dangerous. It is way too bright.
You're gonna
I
get
can't
a-
believe the city hadn't made them turn it down.
Nobody's probably complained yet.
Yeah, I'm complaining.
Hey,
Turn that shit down.
we need time.
But
They're,
I was-
they're in Birmingham city limits. I think Mayor Woodford, listens to the show. He's liked a few. He's liked a few of our stuff on Instagram.
Oh,
so,
good.
So, old Mayor, you need to get out there and
Yeah.
talk to old Tom and let him
Uh-huh.
turn that shit down.
Seriously. But I pulled up to that stop sign there and was getting ready to turn left on the Grants Mill, and I saw what I thought was a dog coming down the side of the road, and I looked at it again. It was a coyote, man.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Right there.
what's his name? Mingo.
Holcomb.
Yeah, Mingo Holcomb.
Oh yeah, he's got a bunch of them.
He loves killing them damn things.
Mhm.
He will Mingo damn. He just posts all kind of crazy pictures. He's good at it. They hired a guy down in not Mount Brook, maybe it was Shades Valley or something like that. They hired a guy that come down there and to hunt them out, and he
Yeah.
hunted them out with a suppressor.
Yeah.
So you couldn't. So
Yeah.
he all his stuff was suppressed so it didn't disturb the neighbors. He walked around there at the crack of dawn in neighborhoods
That's awesome.
shooting coyotes. Got paid good money to do it.
Government sniper, baby.
That's right, man.
That's a good job. That's a
right.
damn good job.
Yeah, man. Just walk around, rolling around the neighborhood with a fucking rifle with a suppressor on it, and just tink.
Yeah.
Oops, that was a German Shepherd. Let me push him over to the side.
You know,
Coyotes must have got him.
Yeah.
Our hunting camp in Tennessee, we've got that land up near Collinwood, Tennessee. We've got 850 acres up there, and we see bobcats all the time.
Bobcats make me nervous, man.
They're very rare to see in the woods, and I saw probably 2 or 3 last year.
Well, they're powerful cats,
oh yeah,
man.
dude. They'll take down a deer, man.
Yeah.
No problem.
And they are not afraid either.
Yeah, I mean, you think
That's
about,
always hiking's always been my.
think about how bad a tiny little kitty cat can fuck you up. Think about
I told people
a 40
that.
pound
Oh,
cat.
yeah.
Cats, man. I don't fuck around with cats, man, because for that same thing, I mentioned that to somebody. You know, you're playing around, they like you, and all of a sudden, you know, they lock in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
A cat
you
bite
get
is awesome.
one that's 40, 50 pounds, and you're in for a bad fucking day.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
think those bobcats get probably 30, 35. They get pretty damn big.
Now,
That's a
when
big cat.
you were raised, what did you raise? Llamas or llamas?
Emus. We raised emus. Oh,
Did
yeah.
y'all ever have any problems with things trying to get to those, or are they just fucking mean as shit? And
They're
nobody
mean
wants
as shit. I mean, probably one of the most. I was probably the premier emu handler in Alabama at one time, just because I was crazy, and I got kind of roped into getting those things. But anyway,
You got to tell the story when they got out that time.
yeah,
and
I'll tell that story. We had a really bad storm, and there were so the deal with them is what we were advised. We had done some these long chain link runs. They were probably 10 or 12 foot across and 90 foot long.
Okay.
And because they like to walk the fence, that's their thing. They like to walk down the fence. So that's why you have that length of it. And
Gives them something to do.
it does. But if you've got mating pairs next to each other, you have to put, we were advised to put like a barrier, a visual barrier, because they will fight each other. They'll try to get each other through the fence. It's like a dominance thing. So we had these what looked like the stuff you would put on lawns to kind of kill the grass, the stuff that was special for fences. Well, unfortunately, it did its job, but it also made that chain link like a sail. So we had a really bad storm come through, and it went, just pushed it over. And when it did, every one of them got out.
Oh,
we had 8
shit.
of them got out. We had 8. We had 4 breeding pair, and they were not cheap at that time. But they got out. And we managed to get all of them but one, which was the biggest one. It was a female, and we called her Joan, after Joan Collins, the bitch. Is what I said, because she was mean. She got out, and my mom and dad had a dog, and it chased her off, and I was like, we tried to get her back, couldn't. Well, I was night house supervisor up at Blunt Memorial, the old hospital, which is now I think a nursing home up in Aniana at the time. And I got off one morning like at 7 a.m. And Renee said, your Uncle Angelo's on the line. He saw the bird down on Highway 75, which was like miles away from the house. It was a week later.
Oh,
right?
wow.
And so he said, come on, let's go down there and try to catch it. So I called my dad. My uncle went down there. Renee was there. And so we're down there in a field off Highway 75. And in an open field, you just do not catch those things. Supposedly in a stride, they can run like 30 miles an hour.
Which is a hell of a lot faster than I can run.
Right. So
Go ahead, man. It's all right.
So anyway, we chased this thing around the field for a while, and I said, look, about 2 or 3 hours went by, and I said, look, we're not going to be able to get this bird in this field. And I was like the most able-bodied one,
Now, what'd you call it, a bird?
It's an emu. It looks like an ostrich.
Okay, well, that's true.
Yeah, it's like an ostrich. So it's a ratite is what
Yeah.
it's like a.
Will they kick the shit out of you like an ostrich?
Yes, they will. Anyways, yeah, I've got a scar right there. It's like, see, that scar right there. That's emu hide. If you look at it, see, it looks like emu skin. But anyway, where I had one, so I said we've got to get it in the woods. That way it'll slow it down. So maybe we can get it. So I was about bent by that time. I mean, I was about crazy. I worked all night, and so we get in the woods. We're working around, and I said there was like a dry riverbed up in the woods, and they were going to kind of get it toward me, and I was going to hide behind this tree, and I was going to jump out and get it. And so
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, at that time, like I said, I was about twisted by that
That's all
time.
I got, bro.
And so the thing started coming down, and it didn't see me. And just as I got out, it saw me. And the thing is, you're supposed to try to pick them up off the ground, and then they'll kick for a little bit, and then they just kind of freeze up.
Right.
Supposedly. Anyway, so it saw me, and it ran up the hill of that bank, and I went after it, and the thing kicked me in the chest, and I had a hold of its leg, and I was still chasing it up the hill, and there was a stump sticking out the side of that bank, and that thing hit me in the hip, and I fell like 6 foot back, flat on my back. I was like, ugh. I thought I was like seriously bad hurt. But it got away, and so I was like, we're going to get this bird. I said, either it's going to die or I am. We're going to get it.
Now we're invested.
Serious. I'm like, I was bleeding, a stick and stump.
Well, you didn't hit your liver, man.
I know. And so there was an old barbed wire fence along the edge, and so it was walking along that fence, and I said, I'm going to get this bird. I tackle that bird. I get caught up in the weeds, and the thing falls on top of me, and it's, clawing me. I look like the wolf man. His toenails are so sharp.
Yeah.
It had like shredded my pants.
Oh, fuck.
And it's laying on top of me like that. And I'm just trying to, and I'm like, I just kind of lay on top of it and get it. And we tie its legs up, and I tote that thing out of the woods. We put it in a horse trailer and take it home. So anyway, that was that story.
Oh, shit, though, man.
How much do those things weigh?
Well, this one, it had been out for about a week. That one was the biggest one we had. It was probably about 110 pounds. Which is not like an ostrich, which is 300 pounds.
But look, though,
that's a bird.
That's a 110-pound bird that does not want you to hold it, man.
No,
that's with talons.
With claws.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean
that's pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah, they look like dinosaur feet.
Yeah. He'd have caught a damn bullet for
raptor.
Me. Yeah, Yeah, they're basically like a fucking velociraptor.
They do.
Man.
They do.
Yeah.
And so anyway, and then I had a guy holler at me one time. He said, "Man, I got some emus I want to move." And I'm like, "Okay, dude." So I thought, he was, I forget where it was, like DeKalb County or something.
Who do you call when you need to
That's
move
right.
some
Well,
emus?
I bet that damn story I bet that story went viral before viral was even.
Good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if there had been social media at that time, no telling what would have happened.
Yeah.
But that's probably what the emu business needed. Was social media. It was before then.
It was
before.
business.
Yeah, it was before its time, man.
Right. But we, the meat's red. So it's like red meat. There's not a ton of it, but they would use they said the oil that was in the skin was like a transport chemical. So if you put, that's why they've got lotions and stuff with it. So supposedly stuff is absorbed more readily through the skin when you mix emu oil with it. That was the deal.
Damn, I didn't heard of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that's what they said. But anyway, so this guy had about 40 emus. I didn't realize how many. And we started moving those things, and I had to catch every one of them by hand.
Oh my God!
And I did, and it's like one of the rules, and we got them from.
I know why your jiu-jitsu base is so strong.
Yeah, twisted.
Just lock it down.
We got our emus from a guy over. He actually had a place over. It's Corky. They redid the inside of planes. You probably would know him.
I know Corky. He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
We got our emus from Corky.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, man.
He had he had llamas and shit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He was, him and Mark knew each other very well because Mark had down in Birmingham. He had an aviation business as well, and Corky did all interiors and stuff, and he would go out to all these. He go out west and go to these airplane graveyards and stuff and get certain components out of there, and he'd customize inside, like he'd add a little light, all these aviation level stuff. He'd go out there and buy it for cheap, and then I think his son still does upholstery for aviation stuff. I don't know if he's still at the air. I'm assuming he's at the airport, but I knew Corky. He was, well, he got ornery in the end of his days, and he was, I think, he just not feeling good. But
he couldn't, he was a little guy anyway.
Yeah.
But he, me and one of my real good friends that time, he now lives in Tennessee, Rob Sear, who used to train with us up on the mountain. We kind of were Corky's guys to moving his birds and stuff. That's how we kind of got our experience.
Man, it's a small world.
And Rob had these gauntlets. They look like some Hercules would wear.
Leather
Yeah,
gauntlets.
leather gauntlets. And Renee ended up selling them at a yard sale. I'm like, why the hell did you sell those things?
No
They
shit.
were like, they had buckles on them. They were like badass.
Oh,
I mean, I just wish
God.
I still had them.
No
But
shit.
but anyway, but yeah, when we moved them, one of the things they always said, do not move emus at night. Don't try to catch them because they're real skittish. So
Okay.
if you start trying to move them at night, it's
They think
probably
you're a predator or something.
Yeah, any type of livestock is probably that rule too.
Sure.
You're just stupid. And so I said, dude, it is getting dark. And I mean, the sun was already going down. I said, man, we've got 5 more emus to catch. And it was really unlevel ground, rocks all over it. Man, I was so beat up at the end of that. And I was like, I don't remember the guy that doesn't matter. He said, "Well, man, I think I got about $30 in my pocket. If you," I said,
Oh.
Bud, you just keep it.
No shit.
I'm chalking this up to experience. I don't want to do this shit again.
Yeah, don't just understand.
All day.
Yeah, just Corky only had $30.
No,
in it?
not Corky. This was the other guy.
The other guy?
No, Corky, he was really good.
Yeah.
Corky was always, and he, he had quite a setup. It was like a little zoo over there at his house. I mean, he had a good little property there, and like I said, all kinds of weird little animals.
Yeah.
Fainting goats back before they were the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he had all kinds of
Oh,
stuff.
fainting goats are the shit.
Yeah.
I've got an awesome fainting goat story.
Oh, throw us at it, man.
Nice segue. Yeah.
That's right. That's it. Go on, hit it.
Me and my cousin were canoeing down some creek in North Alabama. I can't remember if it was Cypress Creek or Blue Water Creek. It's near Florence. So we're cruising down through there, and we look up on the creek bank. It's probably a 20-foot bank up there. There's a damn goat standing up there. So we're like, oh, look at that goat, man. What the hell's he doing out here? We're out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Right.
All of a sudden, this fucking dog comes busting out of the woods. And this fucking goat just freezes up and just falls over and rolls down the fucking bank and lands in the creek right in front of us in the canoe.
No
It was awesome. It was the best
Did he
thing.
land in the canoe?
No, he
Landed
rolled down
in the
in
water.
the creek in the water, like right close to the front of the canoe, right in front of where
Did
we
you
were
have to
at.
get him out to keep from drowning?
No, he was good. It was
He-
shallow water.
yeah.
He just rolled down the bank. He was good.
Yeah, they're
That
only
is
down
so
for a little
Yeah,
while.
Yeah.
As soon as he got to the bottom, he kind of dusted off and stood up and looked
Yeah.
around like, what the hell?
Well, what was funny, I was working.
What happened?
I had never heard of fainting goats, and the guy that we were over in Mississippi, over at the mill in Mississippi doing some stuff, and the guy that was I guess he's like a construction supervisor, old country guy who lives in South Mississippi. He started telling me his fainting goat story. So he went and bought goats. He's had goats, this and that, no problems. So he gets this roll
Sorry.
of goats.
I got a story.
Yeah.
Too. Go ahead.
And he said that he damn gets this goat or gets these goats and stuff, and no problems, nothing unusual about them or nothing. And he's doing stuff. Well, he's down at the barn or whatever, and his buddy comes by and he said, "Hey man, one of your goats died. He's out there in the field laid over. You might need to go get him." And he goes, "All right, I'll go get him." So he gets on his little side by side thing, and he runs out there, and sure enough, his goat's down there. Just when he comes up, it's just laying there. And he grabs it, picks it up, as stiff as a board, and he puts it on the back of the damn thing. And he said he gets in the thing, starts to take off, and he's driving, and he hears something. He turns around, and the fucking goat's standing up staring at him. He didn't know what the fuck was going on.
I'm not dead yet.
Yeah, and he said it scared the shit out of him. He said, so he picked the damn goat up, it was stiff. But it turns out, I think there was a dog running around out there.
Yeah.
And so it probably had gotten up,
Yeah.
and it got scared again.
Falling over a couple of times.
And so
I'm recovering.
Yeah,
Give me a
poor
second.
bastard.
And so and the guy didn't know what fainting goats were. And he said, I've been around goats. He's an older guy. I've been around goats for years. I ain't never heard of such. He goes, went back to he called the guy that he damn.
Yeah.
He goes, oh man. He goes, yeah, I think we got a mixed batch
A
of.
bad batch of goats.
Yeah, he said that.
One with a seizure disorder.
Yeah. Well, no, he
They
said
don't all do it. It's just a certain strain of it.
Well, yeah, he said the guy told him. He says, yeah, I've been getting complaints. I guess the guy didn't know. Whoever he got the goats from didn't know they were fainting goats as well. And so he
I hate when I get a bad batch of goats.
Bad batch of goats.
It's not good for predators.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
just
pretty
start
easy catch.
laughing. I was like, what the fuck? I know. And then it was like right after that. It's almost like when you see a car or something that you like, and then all of a sudden you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like right after I get the funny story,
Yeah.
and then everybody starts liking fainting goats.
As soon as
And
you're
it's
aware of it,
aware of it,
it's
everybody
everywhere.
starts talking about it.
Yeah.
My
That's crazy.
My dad, he had goats for a while. They weren't the fainting brand,
Yeah.
but he had probably, Nathan, how many goats would you say Papu had? Probably about 20, we'll say.
Yeah, we'll just
And
say
so he had 2 billies. And
Wait. Stop right there.
Papu.
Papu.
Okay. So
Nathan has questions.
I like that. That's the greatest grandfather
Yeah,
name
that's
ever.
I've never heard it.
That's
Can I use that?
You
care?
feel free.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Papu
I had to
Nathan.
write that down.
In 3 years when
3 years with my son.
Right. And we call my mother
Hey.
Yaya.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
That's pretty
it's
cool.
a Greek thing.
If he had one when I had him, I'd be a grandpa already, dude. How scary is that?
That not only would you have been a grandfather, you'd be a grandfather of like a 5-year-old
Yeah. Yeah.
pushing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So-
2-year-old.
2-year-old. Okay.
Yeah, because he's 20.
Okay, I thought he was a little bit older.
Had him when I was 18.
Damn. So Papa or
yeah,
Papu,
Papu.
Papu, he had about 20 goats. He had 2 billies, and one of them was mean as hell. And so
did he put pajamas on like they do now?
no, they didn't do yoga either.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, this wouldn't have been a good yoga goat, I'll tell you. But anyway, it was bullying around he wouldn't let the other ones eat. I mean, it was just a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he's like, yeah, I got to get rid of that goat. So my dad worked at ABC at the time. And so one of the guys that worked with him, he said, well, man, David, I'll take that goat. I've been wanting to eat one. He said, sure, I'll take it. And Dad's like, sure, you just come and get it and you can have it. So I was working. I forget what I was doing. But anyway, I'd worked. I think I got called in a bunch the night before at the hospital or something. So I'm like, it's about this time of year too. So it was hot.
Yeah.
So my phone rings. Hey, Chris. Hey, this guy's coming from work. Going to get this Billy Gobbs. Could you come down and help us catch it? And I said,
Professional catcher.
If anybody needs some livestock,
and
call.
I said, okay. I didn't know anything about this, but sure. So I'm sitting out there while we're just discussing getting this goat. Sweat. I look like Nathan after a good jujitsu session.
There you go.
I've got this sweat. It's just,
cooking.
sweat is in my boots.
I'm sweating right now, just sitting there, just thinking about it.
And anyway, it was hot. So my dad's got this lasso. So we're going to try to get this goat, right? And so we're chasing this thing around. And keep in mind, the guy that came after the goat was probably about 55 years old. I think I was probably 40 maybe at the time.
Okay.
The guy was 55. My dad, 60s,
Yeah.
at the time.
So this wasn't too long ago.
Well, yeah, 13 years probably, maybe.
Okay.
So I'm 53 now. So
Okay.
probably, but anyway. So we're trying to get this goat. And we chase it around in there. We're like, man, we ain't going to make it. We ain't going to be able to get this goat. He couldn't, my dad's not he had cow, we had cows and stuff, but, he wasn't a cowboy. He couldn't lasso the thing. So he kind of got it on him a couple of times to get away. And they said, well, I'll tell you what, you get next to the little shed there, and we're going to run him by you. And there wasn't much. They were in the emu pens. So what we had emus, we keep goats in them now, or then. We don't keep goats anymore. So that thing was going to run by. And I said, Chris, we want you to tackle it. So I grabbed this goat, and that thing, I hold on to it, and I bulldog it to the ground. And we tie its legs up. And it takes all 3 of us to carry it out of this pen. And the guy comes in a Ford, like an Explorer.
No shit.
And I said, what the hell are you going to do with this thing? He said, we're just going to put it in the back. We're going to put it in the back. It'll be fine. We'll tie it up. It'll be good. It'll be good. And I'm like, where do you have to go? Inslee? And I'm like, here we are on Pine Mountain. And I'm like,
Good,
I'm like,
45 minutes?
45 minutes.
I'm like, all right, it's your goat.
It's your goat, your
It's
car.
right. I mean, I am just scuffed up, from wrestling this goat. So we tie the thing up, and we tie it up good. So we put it in the back, and I'm like, this is going to be a hell of a story. So anyway, I go home. My dad calls me an hour later. You ain't going to believe what happened. I said, what happened? He said,
Goat got loose.
so-and-so was driving down Highway 79, and that goat got loose.
Holy shit.
Damn thing stood up in the back of that Explorer.
Oh, my God.
And it started acting nuts. And
You'd have to shoot the motherfucker.
and a state trooper was parked on the side of the road. And it's like, he's like, like this. And they pull him over. And the state trooper comes up to the side, and he's like, he said,
have a nice day.
all right,
Fucking goat's going nuts right there.
I'll buy it. What's the story about the goat? And dig this. They thought the dude had stole the goat.
Oh no
And
shit.
so they had to call my dad, and my dad had to
Oh, my
had to
God.
talk to the state trooper and say, "Yeah, I sold it to him." He didn't have he
I
didn't
ain't just going to
sign it.
accuse a man of stealing a goat with no evidence
Hey, some people are
whatsoever.
crazy.
Well, he had a goat loose in the back of an Explorer. I guess that's enough. Probable
You
cause.
stole
Yeah,
this
yeah.
damn
You know,
goat,
and I
didn't
mean, of course, it had shit all over the inside of this thing.
I knew that was
Yeah, and I mean, it was just like this. And I think it cracked one of the windows.
Oh hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it was just. I mean, it had horns. I mean, it was like that was why one of the problems. It had these big old horns on it, and so anyway, so my dad talked the state trip. My dad was still laughing on the phone. And I got the phone. I was like, "Damn, that's a hell of a story."
Damn, that state trooper went back and told everybody y'all ain't
Stories of the road.
Y'all ain't
Stories
gonna
of the
believe
road.
this
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
man.
that's 100%.
I'll
true
meet
story.
that state trooper one day because shit happens like that all the time. You'll
Right.
tell me that story.
Right.
I'll meet that state trooper. Man, I got a story for you. One time I was running down Highway 75, and I'll end up hearing that story.
Dude.
It's gonna be awesome.
Highway 79. It was
79.
79.
79?
That's
Because
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So he
fucking
hit 75
awesome.
and then 79 and was going to get on the interstate.
Oh,
I don't know
man.
what he did with it. I don't know if he tied the thing up, but they ate that goat. I mean,
After he
that.
destroyed the inside of my car, that fucking goat was getting eaten.
Well, one of the guys he's passed away now, we had a lake behind our house, and we used to have those big old snapping turtles that look like something from a 1960s horror movie. Like the dinosaurs that used to be
Yeah.
like voyaged at the bottom of the
Alligator
sea.
snappers,
Hell
yeah.
Yeah, those things had come up in our yard.
Things are gnarly
Had
as
claws.
shit, dude.
Had claws like your hands, but had
Mm-hmm.
and so they'd put a couple bullets in the thing, and the thing was again, it's about like the fainting goat, and so he was going to take it to work to give it some of the guys. They wanted to eat some
Turtle meat.
turtle meat,
Yeah.
So he had it in the back of like an Impala. In
Oh,
the
my
back
God.
seat. And he said he was driving down 79 is just a magnet for he was driving down 79 to get on the what was the interstate then, but he was driving along and he looks in his rearview mirror and that damn snapping turtle's coming up over the seat.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
He's like,
No shit.
Yeah, I think he got it and he kicked it out of the car and shot it on the side of the road.
No
Fucking
shit.
vicious, man.
Yeah, I mean,
They get big too, man.
oh yeah, man, it was
God, they
huge.
get big.
It was
Yeah.
huge. I
That's-
mean, the thing was like this big around.
50-pound
shit.
turtle.
Oh God.
Bite a damn broomstick in half, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Things would
I
take
was, I was
fingers off in
watching
a
one of
hurry.
those little viral videos where a guy was trying to do a good deed and he picks up a turtle in the middle of the road, and
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little bitty turtle, and he went to go damn move it off the side of the road, and it just fucking sprayed something out its ass. He's just
Oh,
he's
God.
like, oh God, you son of a!
Oh, man.
I was trying to do you a favor.
Road to hell is paved with good
Oh.
intention.
Yeah,
We were at the mill last year. We do a lot of me and Chris do engineering work, so we do a lot of work at some of the mills around. So we're at a mill, and they've laid out where they want this new building out. Away from the mill site, it's kind of they're putting in a new landfill cell out there, and they've got the building staked out there. It's kind of in the woods. So we're walking through there, and I see this dead turtle laying there, and I can smell it. I mean, it's obviously dead. It's
Yeah.
nasty. I mean, it was about like this, just hot as hell
Hot,
outside.
yeah.
I think it was like last June.
just
June or July.
decomposing.
Yeah, I mean, that was a 10-inch turtle. It's a good size, like a painted turtle.
Yeah,
And the old boy that was with me goes, "What? Look at that turtle." I was like, "That turtle's dead, bro." He's like, "No, look at him. He's alive." And he runs over there and grabs it and picks it up. And turtle just runs out of, of the shell all down his arm. All down his fucking
Oh,
arm.
look. Oh, he's pissed on me.
That's what he said. That turtle just shit on me, and he threw it back down. I was like, "No, dude." I said, "That is the turtle."
Oh, that was his
He
aorta.
was like,
well, we told the story
wow.
about Joe's dumbass coming out of the. You were standing there when we come out of the office that day, and he saw that snake running across.
"Oh
the
my
damn-
God, yeah!" He
You
went and
were
caught
saying-
that chicken snake out in the
Yeah.
parking lot.
dude!
Dude,
We've told this story before, but it's a great story. So we come out these glass doors on the office building, and what would you say that was? 30 yards?
yeah.
About 30 yards?
Yeah, about 30
So
yards.
at 30 yards, you see this.
Joe has excellent vision, by the way,
That's what he'll tell you.
and hearing.
And hearing, yeah. Which and he's a great.
Supernatural.
Yeah.
Excellent vision.
Excellent. Well, anyway,
He's
this
a great
fucking-
driver, too.
This damn snake's running across the damn parking
Great
lot heading for the bushes.
Uh-huh.
And Joe takes off in this most awkward, crazy ass run. And we're all looking at him like, because we were going to lunch, we're like, what the hell is he doing? And as he's running, we look and see where he's going. We realize what he's going after. and that damn snake hit the bush and like disappeared. And Joe never missed a beat, never looked, just arm deep in that damn bush, and just yanks this snake out. He doesn't know if it's a rattlesnake, a copperhead. He don't know what the hell it is, but he's like, oh yeah, I just wanted to go. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you, man?
So today, did Bill tell you about that snake today? So Bill sends me. I think I called him. I called him whenever I was waiting on money at the Cahaba gym today.
I remember. Yes, yes.
So Bill says that his wife is bent down trimming an azalea bush. She squatted down in the garden out there in the back.
Oh no,
trimming a bush. He was out pressure washing the driveway. I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday. He's out pressure washing the driveway. So she comes running over and screaming and yelling at him, snake, snake, snake. She was bent down trimming this azalea bush, and there was a freaking timber rattler coiled up right between her feet, dude. Right between her feet.
Shit.
And he sent me a picture of it, and it's a young snake. It's only got like 2 rattles in the button, so it's only maybe a year old, 2 years old.
Right.
But he said it was well within striking distance of both of her feet, and it was just chilling. It was just sitting there. And she's rattling the bushes and cutting stuff with, loppers and hedge trimmers or whatever.
Damn.
She is damn lucky she didn't get
They
popped.
live over in Carrington.
Yeah, in Carrington.
And this is Bill's wife?
Bill's wife.
Man, if she'd have got struck, I would have said they got some horrible luck.
Those are beautiful snakes, man. I'll have to show you the picture of them. They call them velvet tails or velvet tips locally.
Yeah, he told me he went in and got it. He said, that was not a snake to be killed with a hoe.
This is the one that he saw today.
Damn.
Yeah. Look at the color, man.
That's a good size looking.
Amazing. The color on those snakes is amazing.
I think we take for granted,
They're beautiful animals, aren't they?
But we take for granted the shit that's in town nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
This is one that I saw in the Sipsey Wilderness that was about 6 feet long.
Oh.
That son of a bitch was scary.
Wow.
We were driving down the gravel road in the Sipsey.
I think you showed me that one.
And we got out, and I've got a little video where I'm poking at it with my hiking stick, about an 8-foot-long hiking stick, and I'm just nervous and scared to damn death. I mean, I was just trying to get it to move off the road, and
sure.
It was fat and lazy and just ate. I mean, just healthy as hell. Beautiful animal.
And I kind of envy you and your son and all them like that. Y'all go to a lot of national parks and stuff like that. I should do a lot more of.
Dude, we're going to Glacier in 2 weeks.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been traveling a lot the last couple of years. We've been really making an effort to do it.
Yeah, I need to, man. But is it very expensive to get?
Oh, hell yeah, it's expensive.
I'm just saying, once
you
getting there.
Get there, getting there is the expensive part. What we're doing in Glacier is we are flying up there and we're renting an RV and going to drive around for a week up in Glacier. And it's there's like on the Airbnb site, there's this app or site called Outdoorsy, and you rent a personally owned RV. It's not like a commercial rental.
They were some guys at work were talking about that.
It's pretty cool, man.
That is pretty cool because I don't think I would like a boat. I would, and there's one for an app
for boats
down the Gulf Coast.
Oh wow,
you can rent my boat, and there's one that I hope I'm not fucking this up, but basically you can on the app you can rent people to come pull you. Like on tubes or water ski, like if you wanted to water ski or you wanted your kids to go tubing or something like that.
Rent somebody with a boater's license.
Rent somebody with a boat to come
drive your shit around.
Yeah, the guy will show up with a boat, and he's got a boat, and he's going to charge you X amount an hour to pull you and your kids around. Man, that's a pretty damn good idea if you want to pay off your boat. I mean, you get a lot of hours on your boat though, but
but this RV we're renting is I think it was a 2013, and it's a Mercedes-Benz. RV, and it is a beautiful RV, a 24-foot. I think it's called an Avion, something another.
Damn.
Yeah.
Going
it's
high
cool,
end,
man. I mean, it's like $200 a day.
Shit.
But when we went to the Olympic National Park, I mean, you got to think about that. We're renting a big ass SUV to carry all our shit because we're all hiking and doing outdoor stuff. We've got all kinds of gear. We rented a Ford Expedition. And, we're staying in these Airbnbs that are $140, $150 a night because there was 4 of us.
Right.
Plus on top of that, you got the car rental. Well, if you got the RV, you're staying there and you're not tied down. You don't have to come back to that location each night.
Right.
If you see something you want to do, you go and you do it, and you just camp out there. If you find a cool spot, you just stay there.
Yeah. Now, how many people you typically take?
Just us 3. This time it's going to be myself, my wife, and my son. So,
Okay.
and last time my son's girlfriend went with us to Washington.
Okay. That's when you saw the redwoods and all that good
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah. God, man.
Yeah.
I
Well,
ain't
actually, I
even.
went to California. You know, my wife
Oh,
did
yeah.
that travel nursing from January to April, and we went out and went to Northern California to I can't remember the name of the damn town now, but Eureka, California.
Oh, yeah.
Let it burn, let it burn.
Let it burn. Let it burn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's one
just
thing where you can drive through the damn tree and
yeah, that's
shit.
where you drive through the tree. Yeah, that's the Avenue of Giants. Approaching Eureka, it was cool.
Could you imagine a fucking tree so big you can drive through it?
Thing was massive, dude.
I mean, I saw
That's
the
called
pictures.
the chandelier tree. I think that one's called the chandelier tree, and then they've got the General Sherman out there, and then the founder's tree. The founder's tree is the one that I sent you a picture of where I'm standing in front of. It's like I can't remember exactly. I think like 315 feet tall. The first limb is like 190 feet off the ground.
Damn.
It's ridiculous huge, man. Yeah, circumference on that thing is shit. I don't even know.
I need a GoFundMe page.
Yeah,
I go do this shit.
yeah. Get
Nate
sponsored.
Dog, hook that up for us, brother.
Get a sponsor lined up, and you can record it for the podcast.
You could probably wordsmith that better than me. Get me a GoFundMe. I need. Well, you know, there's people that supposedly they travel and they give basically blogs and they
social media influencer.
well well not just that, but even before that there's a guy
travel blog stuff.
Yeah, the travel blog thing and how they get to travel is basically like GoFundMe things where people pay them to subscribe, if you will, and so if you're subscribing and paying, man, people are basically paying you to travel.
That'd be awesome, dude.
God, it's man,
travel for a living.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
I'm just fucking traveling around.
Yeah.
And then the guy would get put up in places, like if he couldn't get there, but people like fans of his blog would offer him a room, which can be a little scary if you you never know what kind of nut job you're going to end up.
You know what's weird as hell? That couch
surfing.
That couchsurfing.com app. Have you seen that?
I hadn't
Have you
seen
ever
that.
heard of that? I'm not big on social media stuff, so I may be wrong, but it's a couch surfing app where basically you can just go to somebody's house and party with them and crash out, more or less. I mean, that's what it is.
Well, first of all, it's a little sketchy
hell,
about
dude.
going someplace.
Yes,
but imagine,
to somebody's house.
but imagine putting motherfuckers
on your couch.
On
Yeah,
your
who
couch.
the hell's gonna walk through that door, man?
That's how Manson's story started.
Over you.
Yeah, that's how Manson's story started. You know what I'm saying? Because ask the Beach Boys.
That's right.
Some weird shit goes on. But damn, I need to travel more. I mean, I wish I could. Anyway.
So, I want to tell you guys about. I'm sorry, I got to pull my phone out again.
That's all right. Do whatever you want.
I want to show you guys this picture.
Free range.
See what you think about it. I mentioned we have that hunting camp in Tennessee, that 850 acres that's near Collinwood, Tennessee, that we hunt at, and myself and my son and my uncle do a lot of hunting up there, and we've got a Civil War cemetery on our property, which in itself is pretty cool.
Yeah, I would say so.
But I don't hunt over there in the evening, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
I don't, man. I will not hunt in that area.
Did you see
in the evening? I will hunt there in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll walk in the dark, but I ain't sitting in that fucking tree until it's dark 30 and then trying to walk out of there. Have you seen this picture? This is a picture of a baby casket.
Holy smokes.
That's on top of the freaking ground.
It was just sitting there?
Yeah, can I show this to the camera?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if the camera can see it. The camera
on.
probably won't see it, but what I'll do is I'll post that on Instagram a little bit later.
Dude. And it was in another spot, and now it's in a different location. I don't know who the hell's moving it around. But it's at our hunting camp. It's right there by the Civil War cemetery. But it's a modern-looking casket. It's an aluminum casket.
Is there anything in it?
I don't know. I can't open it. I tried to open it. It's locked. So my thought is, there's probably something in it. I mean, I rattled it around. I didn't hear anything, but they're padded.
Yeah, they're
light.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's like an infant-sized child's casket.
Damn, y'all didn't call anybody and say, hey, y'all need to check this.
It's been there. We've had that property 10 years. It's been there since we've got it.
And it just keeps getting moved around?
Yeah, it just keeps moving.
Think kids are moving around?
I don't know, man. No, I mean, that's so remote out there. I mean, it was right on our side of the property line, and now it's on the neighbor's property line. It's only moved 50 yards probably, but
that's
I think
still 50 fucking yards, man.
That neighbor probably moved it. But I think what happened, we're right on the creek. That area's right on the creek. I think maybe the creek when it flooded, when it flooded, it it came up and maybe that casket floated out of the ground upstream and just landed
Sure.
at our spot.
Damn, that's crazy.
Wow.
It's creepy, dog. I don't fucking hunt over there in the evening. I'm telling you, man.
Did you see the?
I don't
Did you see the hot new video on social media where the little girl's twerking and you can see like a ghosty figure come up and hit her on the ass and she's like, "What the
No.
fuck?" Yeah. Now I don't know if
I
it's
haven't seen
faked or
that.
whatever, but if it's faked, it's really good. But
That's
I
funny,
laugh,
dude.
man, because she's doing doing the whole twerking thing, and this
Yeah.
and that, and shit, it looks like a little ghosty silhouette, and it goes poop, hits her on the butt, and
That's
then you can
funny.
see it run away. And she's like, "I'm not going in till my man gets home. I don't know who the fuck that white ghost is."
That white ghost.
Like, goddamn, I got to laugh at it.
Oh, that's
There's some
hilarious,
great
man.
stuff on social media, man.
Yeah.
I'm completely addicted.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
I don't have any social media, man. All I've got the Chive, which I love. Shout out to my
Yeah.
boys at the Chive. They're great.
Yeah.
And I just downloaded Reddit. My cousin and my uncle are big fans of Reddit, and he sent me something I could only open through Reddit, so I went ahead and downloaded
Open it, Reddit.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny because I don't do Reddit, but I got other friends that do Reddit, but I heard it's not what it used to be.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I haven't even really gotten in there and looked at it yet. I
Yeah.
don't really know what it is, but I'll find out.
Well, if you talk to Joe and his conspiracy theory stuff, he goes, the government puts people in there and to direct conversations to go certain ways and la 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 la, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
you can go into some deep stuff with him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it's good stuff. Let's see what we got going on here. My little monitor goes out if you don't touch it from time to time.
My headphones are kind of in and out. That's what I was like.
I saw you
Oh.
pointing at them.
Yeah. See if there's a little loose connection.
How about now?
Testing? No,
Testing.
they're still out.
Still out.
It was kind of.
Well, let's see. Which one are you? I have to get you all fixed up. Can't have you where you don't know what's going on. Let's see.
Like it had a little short.
How about you now?
No.
No. Hey, Nate Dog, reach in there and grab me another set over there for Chris. Well, we're getting we're pushing an hour, man. Y'all got a lot more left, man. We can keep on going. You want to set a
Keep
headphone?
going. I'm enjoying myself. I don't know about you.
Oh,
there
that's
you go.
fun.
There you go.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, on that bottom. Give me that silver pair right there. Let's see what we can.
This is just our normal conversation. It's just being recorded now.
That's
true.
right, man. That's all we do. We just
Can't believe I didn't show you that picture of that baby casket before, man. That shit's so scary.
That baby casket.
That's crazy.
That's weird as hell, isn't it?
It's got an element of
That's-
disturbing to it for sure.
I'm saying you won't catch my fat ass over there after dark. Ain't no way.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but that Civil War cemetery is pretty wild. There's a bunch of there's a couple of soldiers buried there.
That's it.
There you go.
There's a
money.
couple of soldiers buried in that Civil War cemetery, but it's it's in that time frame, and there's a lot of children there. I don't know, and they're all from the Sims family. It's near the Sims Ridge area.
Well, we asked Miranda about that. Or Dave asked her actually, is about why does it seem like most ghosts or
Old.
spirits are
Yeah.
old? Why don't I want to hear from what did he say? God, did he say I want to hear from the guy that just died 2 weeks ago or whatever
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess it sounds cooler if you say this. Person was I saw a ghost from the 1800s or the 1700s or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But she just did one of her investigations. Supposedly the ghost was fairly recent.
Yeah.
It threw somebody down the damn stairs.
Yeah.
As much crazy shit that goes on nowadays, I'm sure there's some unsettled spirits around.
Unsettled.
I mean, it's not like only bad shit happened
I'm sure
100
there
years
is.
ago.
Yeah, it's
So
wild.
tell me, Chris, about the road goblins. I heard you and Miranda mention the bells on the bikes
Well,
and the
the-
road goblins. I asked my dad about it, and he didn't know. Maybe he needs to know since he's
Well,
getting attacked by spirits at a red
well,
light.
if you look at let's see.
We need to get him like a little one of Eric's things to carry with to
Yeah,
ward
no
off evil
shit,
stuff.
For
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, what they are is they're just I'll pull it up right here, but they're basically little charms. You see them in all kind of motorcycle shops,
Yeah.
and what they do is the story is it started in World War II for the pilots
Mhm.
because Germany used to get their pilots all methed out so that they would be fearless and fly a long time. So when down German fighters were, they'd get checked out, and stuff like that. They started finding these canisters of it's and methamphetamines or this other object or whatever thing it is. And I can't remember the name of it. So the U.S. government started giving their pilots amphetamines for the bomb runs and stuff like that. And well, it's like anything else. You start. They didn't have it down to a science of how much they should give them, so they're just giving them amphetamines, right?
Right.
These guys are eating them up. Well, they start seeing weird shit, in the middle of the night, looking out and seeing shit and saying goblins stuff. So they started hanging these little bells, in their deal, and what it would supposedly do. I think it was a twofold thing. It was a superstition thing, and also kind of give them something to focus on. And I'm sure somebody that knows more about me saying I'm fucking up the story, but so it
known to do that.
It hadn't been known to do that. So it's transitioned, after World War II, a lot of guys became bikers, joined bike clubs, Hell Angel, stuff like that. So that tradition kind of, went over that. Let's see, pull up
So my son just sent me a photo. He's at the Grateful Dead concert in Boulder, Colorado. Dead and Company with John Mayer.
Oh God!
We saw them last weekend in Atlanta at Lakewood.
So see these right here.
Yeah.
So basically,
oh wow, those are cool.
Yeah. So they make all kind, and
I should get my dad a set of those for Christmas.
There you go. Like this one right here looks really good.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
Get your dad a set of these.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah.
So they're, if you believe in it or not, I've never, and they usually hang them off the front of the frame, and that's where a lot of people hang them at. And right there's a good shot. They just hang them off the front right there.
I have actually seen those before, and I didn't realize what that was.
Yeah, and so
that right there.
Yeah, the old gremlin bells. And so, I mean, if you're superstitious, I've never owned a set, and knock on some wood or whatever, I've never had. Damn bike breaks down. You know what it is. And I mean, Amber had one on the Honda, and that son of a bitch broke down. So it didn't do her no good. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
it doesn't ward off mechanical failure.
Yeah, maybe that's, and that's what it's supposed to. And,
yeah.
And it's like anything over time. It's like bike gremlins. It's like anything over time. The purpose evolves. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? It's like we'll get into jiu-jitsu. Why do you wear why do they want you to wear a white gi?
Why is that?
Because back in the day, they couldn't get a fucking gi any other color. You used to make it out of sail material. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, canvas. So they didn't. Nobody had the forethought of being custom about it. They just that's what they got them. And
they were actually off white.
Kind of a dirty white.
Yeah, they weren't necessarily bleached, kind of.
Yeah,
they were rough.
More of a true white cotton color versus a stained out, bleached out white. So that's all right, man. They can see you.
They can.
Talking about, you're talking about the fighter pilots. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this guy works for a company. And again, this is the waiver. Don't know if it works or whatever, but this guy had been doing research in the 1960s with pilots because, when the G-force hits them, if they're going, I guess they're climbing, guys, their blood pressure would drop and they would pass out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they started creating the suits that they wear that compress their torso to keep the blood in their brain, So in that research, the guy who helped come up with all that technology came up with this thing, and he's come up with this thing to people so they could manage their blood pressure. So it's a new product,
right?
And the FDA has supposedly approved it.
Okay.
And again, I didn't see a picture of it, but imagine kind of like an Atari joystick,
okay,
kind of thing, and it's got a digital readout on it, and you're supposed to squeeze it. You don't have to squeeze as hard as that. There's a certain amount of tension that you're supposed to hold, and it will let you know. So I guess it might give you a green light or there's a reading. So when you get there, you're supposed to hold that for like 2 minutes. And then when you get done with that, you move it to your other hand and do it for 2 minutes. It takes basically 10 minutes to do the whole process.
It's to exercise your.
Well, no. It supposedly lowers your blood pressure, like if you're hypertensive. So if you've got high blood pressure, it over a period of just weeks, it supposedly will drop your systolic, which is your top number, 20 or 30 points.
Wow.
Without medication. And I mean, and it's through that, it's something that helps you regulate, but it's not about holding it super tight. There's a sweet spot that you hold it, and you hold it for 2 minutes, keep it in that zone. When you get done with that, you move it to the other hand and you go back and forth. Like I said, you do 2 minutes each side. I guess you do it twice with each hand. But they were talking about it on this thing, and I think the device is like $600, but it's a money back deal. You know, if it doesn't work for you, give it 90 days. If it hasn't dropped your pressure and you can always give it back.
Right. Well, I tell you what, man, people laugh at like certain things of that nature, inventions, but the neck stretcher I've got borrowed from you, you know, that fucking thing is wonderful.
Oh yeah.
You know, it you know, for everybody doesn't know, it's a collar that wraps around, and it's not the pillow kind that you see on Amazon or whatever, but this is more. It's got some baffles in it, but bellows in it, but it has a more of a firm, you know, plastic piece for your chin and for your shoulders, and that thing, you know, you pump it up and it stretches your neck out, and it's amazing what that thing
That
does.
decompression.
Yeah.
It's just like people doing the inversion.
But you don't have to hang upside down and get all.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're just having like cervical trouble, you know,
Yeah.
it makes great sense. Yeah, you don't want to pump it up too much, you know.
I'm a little guilty.
I know you are.
I'm a little guilty. I'll stretch my neck straight out, man.
I need that thing, man.
Man, it's
Tight.
sitting in there. I borrowed it the
Yeah,
other day.
I
was
saw
like,
it in there. I'm gonna use it here.
yeah, man, you should, man. It makes it's a great feeling, man, when you can just kind of stretch that thing out. And it doesn't take a long time.
No.
I need to buy about 5 of them damn things.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's.
But I can't find that exact brand. I've looked online. I've seen some similar, and but I'm not sure yet. I'm a little gun shy about buying one because I'm just convinced. You know, it's like anything else. I know that one works. You know, I hope I don't buy another one because I bought
The pump is a little questionable.
yeah,
It's
that's right.
it's like a shake weight.
Yeah, like a shake weight for all you. Well, you know, you got to make it fun. You know, you know that guy when they were going through all the different pump handles of all the ways to do it. The guy goes,
I was like, "Oh, this feels so natural.
This is the way to go, right?
I could do this all day."
That's right. It's training while you do it.
Training while you do it, absolutely. But yeah, you know when they were sitting around developing that thing, you know, somebody giggled, said, "You damn right, we're doing it this way. We're gonna mess these guys up."
I like it.
So
I'll take the David Carradine model.
oh shit! You know what
Too
David?
soon.
You know David Carradine. You know you used to watch Kung Fu, right? Yeah. He died over in
Thailand
or something.
They found him in a closet. He
He was hanging himself and jacking
Well, they think
some of that.
the
What do they call that?
room.
Autoerotic
Yeah.
asphyxiation.
Well,
That's
there was some
popular.
rumors that there might have been some
Other one involved.
paid help, and they either hooked him up and killed him, or he died and they freaked out and ran.
Don't leave me hanging, bro.
Yeah, don't leave me hanging,
They
bro.
did. They did.
Left him hanging in the
Don't
closet,
leave me
man.
hanging. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
shit.
messed up, dude.
Speaking of, and Dave will get a kick out of this. Dave used to work with this guy, and I think he's a black belt now. And he came here. I think he was a purple or a brown belt. And he started training locally, and he told Dave that I may have told you a story. So
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
So he told Dave that he likes once a year for 2 weeks. He takes off without his wife, without his kids, and he goes to Thailand to get on a bicycle and ride around to go train at any jiu-jitsu place that he comes to.
Right.
And I'm like,
There's so many.
I said,
If it was Thai boxing, it would make a lot more sense.
it would make a lot more sense. I said, Dave, what are you talking? And Dave's like, yeah, man, because Dave, you know, at the initial thing was, I think Dave was curious, but wasn't sure if jiu-jitsu was that big in time. I said, man, I really don't believe to this day that, you know,
No, sir.
jiu-jitsu is that big in Thailand that you'd want to go and, you know, if you told me you flew to Brazil and got on a bicycle and would just ride around and find a school and train for a day or do whatever, I would totally buy that. But if you're telling me you're going to go fly for 2 weeks out of the year by yourself, without your family,
Yeah.
wife, kids, nothing like that.
Well, it sounds better than I ride around on a bicycle and slam any ladyboy I come across. I mean, really.
Yeah, it does.
You're right. It does.
It sounds better.
It does. It does sound, but I bring it up all the time. But Dave told me that story about a year or so
That's
ago,
funny as shit,
and the guy's not in town anymore because I really wanted to meet the guy and kind of call him out on it, you know. But he's in a different state now. He didn't work that facility anymore. But I was like, why would you even tell that?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Why would you even say that?
So a friend of my wife, I hope this doesn't get out.
Yeah. You hope it doesn't get out.
Yeah.
Radio edit.
Radio edit.
No, there's this friend of my wife, and she's been dating this guy, and apparently things were getting a little rocky, and the line that was not to be crossed, or the final straw, I guess you'd say. She found out that him and his boys go down to Colombia. He's got a house in Colombia. They go down to Colombia once a year. It's Colombia or Costa Rica, but I believe she said it was Colombia.
I'll say that's a hard country to get in and out of. I think I'm geographically dumb as far as I know that they're trying to help out Venezuela, but either way, good story.
But so him and 5 or 6 of his boys go down to Colombia once a year for a solid week and do nothing but hookers and cocaine and fish. They fish.
Oh yeah, they gotta get some fishing in. I mean, it's probably good.
Yeah.
It might be Colombia, man.
I'm sure you could probably.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know.
Cocaine them a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
better.
I don't know if hookers and cocaine is prominent in Costa Rica. But I heard
Sure
Costa Rica's nice.
Yeah. Hey, my cousin lived in Costa Rica for like 4 months, man.
Oh no
He
shit.
went down there and he was doing
Cocaine and hookers?
Yeah, cocaine and hookers mostly, but during the day he was selling Elvis stamps on the phone.
What?
He would cold call people, and back to the United States, he was like, back before all this robocall bullshit, man, people would actually answer a call. He was doing.
Do you like the king?
Yeah.
Everybody loves the king.
Yeah, what did they call that? They had a term for that, the phone sales or whatever.
Yeah.
But he would just call people and do you like the king? Do you want to support the U.S. Postal Service?
No shit. And he
Yeah.
made a living down there. I heard a living.
I wouldn't say that, but he was earning a little extra money.
He was learning a little extra. Damn.
He said that you could get, a bar tab for the night, and what here would be a 50 sack of cocaine, a gram or so.
Mhm.
And that's all you needed down there because it's 98% pure.
Yeah.
But you could get your bar tab, a girl, a room, a 50 sack of cocaine, $20
Oh no way.
for the evening. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. You sit at the bar, drink all you want.
That's a great way to
Snort all you
die of
want.
AIDS.
Fuck yeah, it is. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
I mean, you just go down there and just go crazy for 5, 6 years.
Yeah, man. Especially if you thought you were about to go to prison.
Yeah. He was only down there for a few months. He had some stories about it though.
That's crazy.
I'm sure he did.
Neither of you have met my cousin.
No,
God, he is an interesting fellow.
it sounds like him and Dave would have some great
Oh,
stories.
him and Dave would.
They probably know each other.
They would click
Shit,
right off.
but-
Well, he's down in Panama City right now. He's been down there since the hurricane came through.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, he's been down there doing contractor work. Seems like he's doing pretty good.
Yeah,
But-
got to rebuild.
Yeah, there's hookers and cocaine down there too.
Oh hell yeah, there is. If there's construction work going on, there's
hell yeah, there
hookers and
is.
cocaine. Look at Nate.
Yeah.
Nate Dogg, look at Nate. We're gonna watch out for you, man.
That's right.
Makes the world go round.
That's right. You gotta watch those hookers and cocaine.
Uh-huh.
We're supposed to go to PC pretty soon ourselves.
That's
so,
right.
That's right.
He start eyeballing those construction sites.
PCB, baby. That's
right.
Those guys can get you anything you need, man.
Absolutely. You gotta
Wow.
watch out though. He can get you more than what you.
Get you more than what you bargained for.
Yeah, yeah. You get a little bit
Yeah.
more than that.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So my cousin, when I was in the Marines, I was deployed to Haiti, and my first deployment, I got in 2003, and my wife was supposed to move down or up to North Carolina with me whenever she graduated in May of '04. Well, in February of '04, they sent my ass down to Haiti.
When all the shit was going on.
Yeah, there's some political shit going on down there. And
Civil unrest.
some civil unrest. Their president fled the country. We had to go down there and throw the smack down for a little while. But I was down there, 4 or 5 months. I think it was on the closer side to 5 months. But so I only got to use the phone. I mean, this is before they had regular internet hookup and all that. I mean, there was no internet down there where we were. We were on some what they called a college campus, but it was like a compound that was under construction. The only reason we chose that is because it had a wall all the way around it, like a 12-foot,
Right.
rock wall. But so I stand in line for an hour, wait on my fucking phone call. I call my wife. I'm like, hey, babe, what's going on? Your goddamn cousin. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I'm walking down the fucking highway right now because your goddamn cousin.
Oh,
I was
God.
like, holy shit, is everything okay? I mean, there's nothing I can do. I'm in another country. You know, what the fuck am I supposed to do? She's like, this son of a bitch. So they graduated together.
That's
my
so
wife and
fucking
my wife and my cousin graduated from college together.
Okay.
They graduated in May. And him and his girlfriend, I mean, they did the right thing. They went and helped my wife because I was gone. Helped my wife pack all of her shit. Got a U-Haul truck. Moved her ass up to North Carolina. Hit a fucking gas pump with a fucking U-Haul truck. So they unload all the shit at the house, right? And they go and they're about to turn the U-Haul in. They're going to fill the U-Haul up with gas before they turn it in.
Sure.
So he's pulling out and he hits the damn concrete bollard right there, the concrete, the steel tube with concrete poured in it. Just takes out the side of the truck, busts the dual. They had to call the maintenance people out there, changed the whole damn dual out, busted both tires on one side, and took all the underpinning out from underneath the truck. Yeah, my cousin was driving.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
That's
sure
right.
as fuck is. This was I wouldn't say pre-cocaine, but probably pre-hookers. But so all that shit happens. They go and turn the truck in, and my wife said that Paul's like trying to distract the guy that's checking the truck in. So he starts walking around to that side of the truck where all the damn underpinning and shit's gone. I mean, not to mention they had just called the maintenance people and had them come out there and change the dual, and it's all documented.
Yeah, it's all they know.
You know what I'm saying? They know, but you know.
Do you like cocaine? That's what he said.
So he keeps distracting the guy to the other side of the truck or whatever. Finally, dude just strokes the pen and signs off on everything's cool. They're done. They turn the truck in. No liability. He didn't write up any damage on the truck.
Right.
So we never hear anything else about the truck. Everything's cool. I mean, it's been, 15 years. We never heard anything about the truck. So, yeah, I mean, he's just that kind of guy,
But how
he
is
just gets away with shit. So, to celebrate them graduate, they celebrated before in Florence, and then they pack everything, move out there, wreck the truck, turn it in. They're going out that night in Wilmington, North Carolina. And our house was in Hampstead, North Carolina. It's close to Topsail Island, but they, Paul gets to drinking at the bar, and he's talking to these guys, and dude's like, hey, I got a boat. Y'all want to go out on a boat? And Paul's like, hell yeah, we're going out on the boat. And Amanda's like, I don't know, man, it's probably not a good idea. So they end up going out on the boat, get way the hell out. I don't know if they're in the bay or in the ocean or what, but they're out on a boat somewhere, and maybe the intercoastal waterway. Fucking boat breaks down. And it's like a big ass cabin cruiser boat, And so, short story long here. They somehow get to land.
I was saying, but that was a hell of a rowing.
Somehow get to a damn highway. I mean, you look at the coastline up there, dude. And the intercoastal waterway, I mean, there's just miles and miles of marshland between highways. I mean, they're damn lucky that they were able to get to some piece of land that they could get to a road.
Right.
They could have been on that boat for days, dude.
Yeah, nobody know, yeah.
Yeah, so I just happened to call.
Cannibalism.
Yeah.
After they trudge through the swamp and get back to the road, I just happened to call from Haiti. Hey, babe, how's it going? Your goddamn cousin. I was like, holy shit.
Your wife's got fire, too.
Oh,
So
some people call her a heinous bitch, but I just say she's my little firecracker.
Yeah, I would never call you. I'd like to go on record and say that I would never call your wife that.
I'm just lovely woman.
Yeah, she is definitely a firecracker.
An outstanding nurse.
Yeah.
I don't want her to learn jujitsu.
Oh, I bet
she
not.
She would fucking kick my ass.
But she's tough, though.
She's a tough bitch, man.
Yeah,
she's very tough. She's a good woman. She takes good care of me.
Yeah, that's good, though. That's
for sure. Good. Takes good care of me and my boy.
Yeah, that's what's most important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always think back about the time you told me that she got into some little skirmish with some girls, and you'd been drinking a little bit, and you were trying to break it up, and then you turn around, and she's still acting an ass.
Oh, yeah, dude. She was flicking that girl off and licking her finger. She was going, fuck you, bitch, and licking her finger, dude. This shit was so funny. I said, look, you don't want none of this right here. I said, I promise. She spilled her beer on a girl, some sorority slut,
Yeah.
whatever, down at, it was Bell Bottoms or whatever it was down there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, they started pushing each other, and I got between them, and I was like, pushing the man in the back. I'm like, just chill, babe, chill. Fucking just chill. I was like, oh my God. And I turned to that girl, I said, you do not want to tangle up with this one right here. I promise.
I beg you.
I promise you don't. She's like, no, I'll kick that bitch's ass. I said, no, you won't.
No, you won't.
No, you won't. I promise you. You want to leave that one alone. Just walk away.
Don't want none of this, Dewey.
That's right.
Yeah. Just walk away.
It's going to be a bad day for you. Come
I
on.
turn around and look at Amanda. She's going, fuck you.
It's like,
Licking her back finger.
it's like, would you please?
Like, what is wrong with this bitch? I'm a little firecracker.
Have to throw her over your shoulder and tug her out.
It's my little firecracker.
Well, speaking of, that reminds me of
It's
the
happened
story.
a couple of times.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me of the story where you choked the guy out at Iron City.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
that was fucking funny.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
You had to tell that.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, jujitsu. But you have to tell that one too.
I don't know what happened.
You don't know what happened.
Well, I was actually the DD, so I wasn't even drinking. I might have had one beer maybe, and so it's packed, slam packed. It's at 10 Years and Chevelle concert. That was about a year and a half ago. It was in December. I don't remember what year it's at. 18, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
December of 17.
17. Yeah, it'd be 17.
Yeah, so it's packed ass, man, and they've got a little walkway around kind of the top in between the bar, and they've got a floor that's, sunken down or whatever. And we kind of made our way down in front of the little stairs that go down there. And we had a pretty big party. There was like maybe 10 of us, and it was all my wife's friends and their boyfriends and husbands and whatnot. And so we're just sitting there chilling, listening to the show. And I feel somebody push me in the back. And I kind of look over my shoulder, and I look back, and I see this big jacked up fucker, and he looks back at his buddy, he goes, fuck it, I'm going through. And so he just pushes his way, just shoves through our whole little crowd of people, pushes this girl almost down, and pushes his way up ahead of us. And I was like, what the shit, man? And my brother-in-law was there. I looked at my brother-in-law, and he was pretty pissed about it, He's like, what the fuck's wrong with these guys? I was like, some people are just assholes, And sure enough, not 5 minutes later, this huge fight breaks out, and there's about 10 people going at it, and all the bouncers are in the mix, and here comes my boy that says, fuck it, I'm going through. He's tied up with a single bouncer, and he kind of gets separated out from the crowd. And they get into that little stairwell that goes between the walkway and the bottom part of the floor, and it's right behind us, and he's just kicking the shit out of this bouncer, man.
I mean, literally, too.
Literally,
right?
yeah.
Dan was like curb stomping him.
Yeah, well, the bouncer keeps trying to take him down, and the bouncer would wrap him up kind of around the knees or the waist, and the dude would kind of sprawl against the wall, push his head down, and hit him 2 or 3 times. The bouncer would stand up and block him out, and try to take him down. The guy would sprawl back, push him, hit him 2 or 3 times. Well, finally he turns and pushes the bouncer up the stairs back toward the sound booth, pushes him against the wall, and just slugs the shit out of him. And the bouncer goes down. Well, while this shit's happening, this girl walks up and goes, that motherfucker just hit me in the face. And I was like, what? And I looked at her, I said, who did? And her makeup's all fucked up, and she's crying, and she's got a big-ass black eye. Already you can see
Just
where she's been
swelling
hit.
up, yeah.
I was like, damn. She goes, that motherfucker right there fighting that bouncer. And I was like, okay. And I just kind of looked at her, and I was like, I don't need to get involved with this. And I don't know what happened, but I just went after him, dude.
Yeah.
And as soon as he turned away and hit the bouncer against the wall, I came over the top with that forearm, and I short choked him. And he was bigger than me. He was taller than me, and wider than me, and definitely stronger than me. And I short choked him, and he kind of got off balance, and I chalked his foot up and took him down. And as soon as we hit the ground, I put my hooks in and sunk in the rear naked choke.
Yeah.
And I just squeezed with
Hell
everything
yeah,
I
'cause
had.
You said, I can't let him loose
can't let him loose now.
Yeah.
And I squeezed and squeezed, and they were hitting me. They were going, let him go, let him go. And this girl grabbed my arm and scratched the fuck out of me. Let him go. And I felt him go out, and I was like, well, I'm going to hold it a couple more seconds.
Yeah.
And the bouncers are like trying to get me off. Let him go, let him go. So finally, I let him go, and when I stood up, I pushed his face into the ground real hard, like I pushed him on the head.
Yeah.
And when I stood up, about 3 bouncers tackled me to the ground.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I'm on the ground, and I'm like, I'm cool, guys, I'm cool. And I put my hands up like Chris always tells me to do, defensive.
Yeah.
I'm good,
Looks good on camera.
Yeah, and I looked at that bouncer. I said, I'm here to help you, bro. I said, he was whipping your guy's ass over there. I'm here to help you. So they stood me up, stood him up, and I was trying to face towards the guy to see what was going on. I heard this girl, and they had me facing away. I couldn't turn over and look at him. Heard this girl go, "Oh my God, is he okay?" And I'm sure he's over there, convulsing and shit because he was fucking out. And so they take me outside with that guy, and we're standing there. And of course, the girl that got punched in the face is standing there, and about 3 other people. He asked me, he said, the bouncer said, "Go talk to that cop." So I'm standing there talking to a Birmingham cop, and the cop says, "What happened? Why were y'all fighting?" I said, "I wasn't fighting." He said, "Well, why are you out here?" I said, "Well, this guy was beating the shit out of that bouncer, and he punched that girl in the face." And I said, "I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and I was in the Marine Corps." And I said, "He was a threat to everybody, and I just had to neutralize the threat."
Damn
I
right.
said, "Surely you can understand that." And he said, "I can understand that." And I said, "You know what? It felt fucking good, and I would do it again." And I laughed, and he laughed. He's like, "That's cool." So then I'm standing there talking to the cop, and the lead bouncer guy comes over. And the lead bouncer guy looks at me. He goes, "Tell me what happened." And he said, "Why were y'all fighting?" I said, "We weren't fighting." I said, "He beat that bouncer's ass." I said, "You can ask that bouncer right there." I said, "That girl, he punched that girl in the face." And I said, "He was a threat. I had to neutralize the threat." And I said, I told him saying that I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I was in the Marines. I had to neutralize the threat.
Hold my beer.
Yeah. But I wasn't even drinking. I was the DD. I was sober,
Right.
And he just looks at me and laughs. He goes, "That's what Marines do. They neutralize the threat, right?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, it is." He goes, "I tell you what," he said, "what do you do for work?" I said, "Well, I do engineering work." He goes, "You need a weekend gig, bro?" He said, "You come in here and work Fridays and Saturdays."
That's right.
I was like, "No, I'm good, man. I'm good." He said, "Go back inside, man. Have yourself a good time. I appreciate it."
There you go.
That was fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
The greatest.
And what's funny is that guy still probably don't even know what fucking
He probably
happened.
don't even know what happened.
He's like, some
You said,
motherfucker
though,
jumped on
he
my
was
back.
altered, though. He was
Fucked up, yeah. Him and his boys were drinking heavy.
Yeah.
And probably
sure.
some other stuff, too.
Probably some other stuff.
You probably saved his life if you
He
think
was a
about
big
it.
son of a bitch, dude.
Well, you
he
think
was a hell of
about
a
it,
lot
man.
bigger than me.
Think about it. You probably saved his life in the future because now he's going to think hard before he does some stupid shit in the
That's
future.
true. That's true.
That don't mean he won't revert back to his ways,
That's true.
but he'll think real fucking hard before he starts pushing through crowds.
Yeah. I know there's video of that shit, too, floating around somewhere, and I'd love to see it and see if it actually went down the way that I remember it.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing about memories, and is we most people are pretty good with memories, but when things go crazy fast like that, you're like, I like watching UFC fighters review their tapes, their fights and stuff, and the guy's like, "Yeah, this is what I do right here," and they're about a half a second ahead of the thing, and then you'll hear them go, "Oh, I didn't even realize I did that," and it's like, "Oh man, blah blah," because everything's so fast,
But that's what we train for too, man.
Yeah, your adrenaline's just.
But when we train in jiu-jitsu, it's live action every night. I mean, you get
under pressure,
used to that pressure and that stress.
It is, and that's why I've used the camera to film myself rolling a couple times, and it's like
shit happens when you're rolling that you don't even know.
Yeah,
or when me and you sit and talk about what we just did, I'm like, I don't know how we got there, and I don't know exactly what happened right here.
Right.
But that was good, and that was bad.
Right. Yeah, but it's. Well, a lot of times, you get your eyes closed, or shit's going on, your face
or
is buried.
Somebody's sitting on your fucking head, or something.
Somebody's sitting on your head. You don't really know what happened. So it's same one with a fight. I think about the times I've been in skirmishes in places I shouldn't have been skirmishing.
Yeah.
And you always wonder if it looked as cool in your in real life as it does in your head.
It looked fantastic in my head.
That's right.
It felt great.
Sometimes
felt
by
great
what everybody
too.
says, it's better than it was.
Yeah, sometimes it goes so fast. You're like, oh, I hit him 2 times. You hit him 10 times and spun and blah blah blah. Yeah, it's like I did.
I know that rear naked went in nice and smooth, baby.
Oh man,
felt good.
When you
just say somebody that's not expecting it.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
really
True.
good.
True.
It was really
Yeah.
good.
He wasn't ready to go to the ground. He was
No.
in bar fight mode.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing about it is your heart rate's going up. You know, you're
Mhm.
pumping, pumping, pumping. You cut those two
Yeah,
arteries off.
that's what I
and-
thought. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
talked to Chris about. He had been fighting, probably, pushing around in that crowd and those
Oh,
bouncers
man, he
for
was-
a minute and a half,
Yeah,
maybe
he
2
was
minutes.
elevated. Yeah.
Yeah,
Had about 7 Red Bulls in him. And,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure he went out in a matter of seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Just yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't know what happened.
Well, back in the day, we decided I had a theory, and I actually sent it into Black Belt Magazine. We were kind of, because I always thought, because people go out so fast,
Mhm.
and so I always thought, because your vagal nerves are in your neck, so they run all the way down, and so that's the reason people pass out sitting on a toilet, straining to have a bowel movement. So I would say
Right.
Elvis died, because he died
Okay.
on the toilet because he might have been straining or whatever. He was on a bunch of probably pain pills, whatever. But anyway, he
Yeah.
died. He was constipated. He was straining. He died. And so what happens when you stimulate the vagal nerve? Sometimes your heart rate will drop. And so I said, I wanted to test it out as impromptu. But anyway, I sent it in to Black Belt, and they were like, that shit is dangerous. We're not going to publish that, because we put some cardiac monitors on guys, and we choked them.
Oh,
and,
shit.
And their heart rate would drop. I mean, your heart rate would drop like 20 or 30
Wow,
points, just like that, just from that
that pressure.
And when you have patients that are having like an arrhythmia, sometimes when you come into the ER, they'll do vagal stim. They'll massage their carotids, just massage them, not clamp them down, but massage their carotids, and sometimes it'll drop their heart rate.
Wow.
And so it was true. I mean, we put it on. I put it in. They said, if we publish that, people be trying to do that stuff. And I was like, well, do what you want to, but I mean, it's legit, and
Yeah.
nobody ever talks about that when you talk.
I've
about
never
choking.
heard that until you
It's
brought
true.
it up.
Yeah, it's true. That's why guys go out so fast. I think, because some guys go out fast.
Yeah. Well, if I've know, you can tell somebody that's had like a 5-hour energy or a Red Bull or something before class. They felt tired before they showed up to class, and man, they just
I won't do that shit, bro.
their heart, their heart
Yeah.
rate gets going. You can tell that they just don't fare well.
That ain't happening for me.
Yeah. So
No, you get in that adrenal state, and
I ain't
just,
doing that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
well, that's why somebody like to smoke a little weed before they roll.
I've rolled at other schools, and 1 or 2 people at our school I've noticed.
A little relaxed.
Well, a little stench of the old
Yeah, the old
Ganji.
the old Ganji, a little fragrant.
Yeah,
Sure,
a little
I'm sure it's-
fragrant.
Sure, it's medicinal.
Yeah,
But I
sure.
mean, yeah. But I'm anyway.
We can't confirm nor deny.
Cannot
Yeah.
confirm nor
School,
deny.
school I went to at Charleston, old homeboy was wearing the hemp gi and just smelled like straight reefer, dude. I was like, man, come on, man. And it had
Was
the
it-
red, the red, yellow, and green flag.
Lucky Gee.
Had the Jamaican flag
Jamaican
on there.
flag?
Yeah.
That's right.
Was that Lucky Gee? I think Lucky Gee makes some of
Show
those.
will
black
make some with
hemp-
that too.
hemp gi.
They'll have some with the multicolor,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
We were at
Good material.
back in
Little
the
stiff.
Strong.
back in the 90s. We were at a fight in Arab. They used to have a lot of fights. Robert Clariday used to put on a lot of fights up in Arab, and they were all in a ring. It's before the cage really kicked in.
Right.
And so, I mean, there were some really good fights. I mean, they were kind of backwoodsy, I
Yeah,
mean, so they were really entertaining to watch. And I mean, because you really had a guy that had trained a little bit against a guy who really had not trained much. And so those are really great fights to
Yeah,
watch,
yeah.
if you're not one of those guys. And so, anyway, there was
You're
some
not
bad,
in there with
there was bad blood between these guys. And actually, the guy was one of my guys. He wasn't fighting that night, but he fought, and he had a pretty good reputation in that area. He was actually from Arab. I will not mention his name. He's a law enforcement officer somewhere else in another state right now. But anyway, so the guy was just a punk that was running his mouth, and he had issues with one of the other guys that trained with us, and he was just like, yeah, and they were having words. And so our young man, they were on the outside. The fights were over. He was having words with him. He spun that boy around and threw a rear naked choke on him so quick. And I'm like 2 rows back. And I'm like, oh, no. And I'm like, ugh, like that. And that dude went out so quick. And and I said, so-and-so, let him go. And he let him go. And he was out. He let him go. And that boy bounced off that concrete floor. And the guy's girlfriend's like, come on, whatever his name, Tommy, go. And he's like, He's just dish rag. Come on, Tommy, let's go. And she's like dragging him on the floor. He's just out. I said, honey, he is out. Come on, Tommy, let's go. And just dragging him. And finally the boy's like, and she gets him out the door. And I was like, good God.
Oh, God, man. It takes all kinds.
That's the stuff that used to happen a lot back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen it. Well, I told the story before, and I tell it again, just because it makes sense to. But we were fighting out in Jasper one time, and Joey Marenberger was warming me up, and this little Hispanic kid was just in the same area with us, and he was there with nobody, by himself, and he come up and walked him. So I was warming up, hitting the mitts a little bit. I think I was fourth fight or something like that, but he walks up. None of the fights have started yet. And everybody's warming up and taping up, doing all that stuff. And he comes up, he goes, hey, man, why is everybody rubbing this Vaseline on their faces? And I looked at Joey, and Joey looked at me, and I said, oh. Joey turned around, he grabbed somebody, I can't remember. He goes, hey, y'all need to help this guy out. Right. He had no idea, man, that he was going to get fucking,
from getting cut up,
cut up. And dude, he had no corner guy or nothing.
Well, we always had that saying: if your girlfriend is your corner man, you're in trouble.
You might be in trouble.
But you might be in trouble. Nowadays, it would be different.
Yeah, nowadays.
But back in the day,
it
wasn't like that. But I don't remember if we talked about this. If we did on the last podcast, I will not share. Just tell me.
No,
I don't want to overlap.
That's all right.
I was doing a fight in Tuscaloosa, and it was amateur. It was one of the guys, it was his first fight. The other guy had 2 or 3. And the guy did not look like a fighter. And I mean, so I go and I did the fighters meeting, I was refereeing. I did the fighters meeting. So everybody had heard the rules. So I get in there and I'm giving final instructions. I said, okay, this is it. I said, no, in that particular, you couldn't strike, like punch the head on the ground.
Right.
It's basic amateur. So we're going, I said, don't do this, don't do that. And so I go to, I said, you good? He said, yeah. He grabs my arm. He said, so can I hit him? And I said, okay, so you upstanding? I said, you can hit. I said, everything's cool, man. You can hit, kick, everything. Don't kick a downed opponent, But I said, once you go to the ground, you can't punch him in the head. And of course, are you good? Yeah. He said, can I hit him?
Oh, shit.
I said, dude, I'm not making this up, Chris. I said, dude, if you go to the ground, you can't like mount him and punch him in the face. But I said, standing up, man, you can punch him. I said, it's just like a regular fight. I said, you punch him, whatever, kick, everything's good, no elbows, but so I can hit him. And I'm like,
yeah,
dude, yes, you can hit him. Hit him.
How'd he do?
And I went across the other guy comes in. I said, I give him final. I said, hey. I said, don't fuck this guy up too bad, is what I tell his opponent. The guy goes over, hits the guy, boom, drops him, takes him down, boom, boom, boom. As the whole thing was over within like 30 seconds.
Holy
and he gets
shit.
up at the end of the fight, final, raise the hand of the guy, and I look at the guy that was there. I said, whoever the son of a bitch was that got you in here, never listened to another damn thing he said.
Did you tell?
Holy shit.
I said, never listen to another thing he said.
Because it's probably his wife. His wife or his ass.
I don't know, but man, you could tell the guys that were in his corner, and they were these, guys that were kind of sketchy anyway.
A little backwoody.
Yeah, they thought they knew what they was doing. But I mean, that guy didn't even have a clue. And I mean.
So I can hit him?
So I can hit him?
So I can hit him? Well, fuck yeah.
We were. Anyway, we won't go down that.
Come on, you
go. No. We were doing that fight at Old Car Heaven, and there was supposed to be another referee. You weren't reffing that one, Chris. I think that was actually before you started reffing for the state. But we were there, and that was. Now, if we talked about this, let me know too. No. But no, we were there, and the promoter of the show was an out-of-state guy. And I don't know his name, but anyway, he got these the strip clubs to put the money up for the fight.
Right.
Have I told the story?
No, but
okay.
I'm glad you're saying, because I got another I got some points.
But anyway, so we're there, and basically there were 2 different strip clubs, and they both had whole entourages of their girls there.
Right.
And they were there. They were in like one side was this group, one side was this group. Very interesting because they were dressed, like they were going to work after.
Yeah,
and so
probably were.
Right. And so. City Councilman John Rogers comes in, and he's dressed like Michael Jackson in the Thriller video. He's got a leather suit, red and black leather suit on.
He's not doing the Eddie Murphy delirious.
almost that. He's
almost
got that. And so he comes up. They've got a seat for him right up front. They've got a seat for him right up front. And the girls are they got him sitting between the girls, and they're just he's got a stripper on either side of him, and they're just all hugged up. Man, he is like
he's like king. Yeah,
king. So anyway, at one time,
hey man, I might have put on a suit for myself.
But I'm telling you, just the suit was interesting enough. Yeah. But it was the delirious suit.
The delirious suit.
From Eddie Murphy, delirious. But anyway, so I probably told you this story. So about 3/4 of the way through the card, there weren't that many fights. This guy comes in. The guy comes in first. He looks like a fighter. The guy comes up, is a real thin dude, and he's got on basketball shorts, and he comes up, and I said, dude, checking for mouthpieces. You got your mouthpiece? No, it's back in the back. So he sends the guy after. And so we're all up, in the cage, ready to go.
Ain't nothing worse than waiting.
The guy can't find his mouthpiece. And so he has to get out of the cage and go back to the back and find his mouthpiece. He comes back. I said, okay. I said, you got your cup, right? And he said, oh, no, I don't have a cup on. I said, dude, you need a cup. He said, well, it's back in the back. I said, well, you just go on and get it. So he goes out and gets it. And he comes back. And I've seen some like at Walmart or something now, but it was the smallest cup I'd ever seen in my life. It looked like something you'd have on your keychain.
Oh, God.
Like, something like an ornament. That thing was probably, it was like that big, little cup.
Cup.
And the dude, he doesn't have a jock strap on or anything probably. And he just takes that little cup and he just puts it down in his pants. So we go up there and I'm like, okay, because the rules are, people, you got to start the fight with a cup and a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And gloves,
Yeah.
So we go out, and I'm giving, they're in the middle of the cage, and I'm saying, this is this, giving final instructions, all this. And that cup falls out the dude's pant leg.
Oh,
and
God.
hits the ground, and I said, please pick that up. He picks it up. I said, dude, if you can't keep that cup in your pants, we cannot start this fight. He shoves it in. I'm thinking, he puts it back in. And so the whole thing lasts like a minute. The guy takes him down. Boom, boom, boom. It's over with. He armlocks him. It's over.
The guy lost.
The guy lost with a little cup.
Oh, God.
But anyway, I'm like, there's no way that cup was that dude's cup.
Well,
it was like it was the smallest cup you could imagine.
Little cups never win.
It was green. It was green. It was green.
Green you sure it wasn't a cover of a mouthpiece cap? You know what I'm saying?
It was not. It was a cup, but it wasn't much bigger than that. It had the rubber around the outside, so I knew it was.
I didn't ref this fight, but you did. Mm-hmm. And do you remember when they did the fight at the furnace?
Oh, yeah.
And that cat.
It was a Sunday night.
It was a Sunday night. Did it at the furnace. Okay, so you got main stage there, and then they got the big opener. They put it down there. And Chris was talking to me about, you were talking to me about reffing. You were like, come down and just sit right here next to kind of see what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, cool. And I think, I can't remember who else was reffing with you. I can't remember because what's his name? Peter wasn't reffing, but he was sitting there. I think he was either judging or just sitting there. I can't remember. Dude, this guy come out, the promoter, right? So they got the cage set up and whatever, and they fire the music up. This promoter comes out with a crown and a fucking robe thing on.
He's a little Indian dude.
Yeah, little Indian dude.
That same guy, he's the old Car Heaven.
He did that.
Same
guy. He comes out, dude. I'm not kidding you.
Comes out like James Brown.
Yeah. And it was amazing, man, because I was sitting there and I was like, what the fuck? What kind of spectacle is this? So he's got the strippers with him, right?
Yeah,
and they're walking out to the cage with him. He walks from the back, right? He's got this fucking thick, and it's got the big white, around the edge.
Yeah. Big white leopard print shit on there.
Yeah, and it was like a damn little fairy tale book. He's got his crown, but he goes in, and Chris, please make sure I'm not telling this wrong because this is what's in my head. He gets in the cage and he kneels down on one knee, and they take the damn robe off of him, and he stands up and he starts addressing the crowd, with his crown on. And I'm just sitting there in awe.
He is the show.
Yeah, he is the show.
He's a showman.
He was a showman, man. But look,
and he had on a purple suit, if I remember correctly.
Something of that nature. I'm gonna tell you what, it was ridiculous. He was not really a showman. We laughed, and I thought, what the fuck is this? This is ridiculous.
Probably
But I'm that.
Birmingham City Councilman, probably.
Oh no, I don't know.
This
No,
guy
he was
out of
from
state.
Atlanta.
Yeah, he's from Atlanta.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's from
really?
Atlanta.
But I tell you,
Wow.
I don't know of any. I never refed any fights over there that he was the promoter on, though. Maybe he just
No,
did
I
some-
think he was trying to get into. He was. God, y'all discussed this because this was right at or right before when the athletic commission was really clamping down on everything, and I think he saw this as virgin territory, if you will, and was going to try to get in and get in early. And about the only people that's really survived was the strike hard guys. You
Right.
know that they've still doing them. But I think he was trying to get in and get and he was trying to build a gimmick.
Yeah,
But
make a name. Yeah,
Make a name, but it was just ridiculous.
yeah, that's funny.
You know, all you gotta do is put on a good show. You put on a good show. I mean, the strike hard guys, they don't do anything theatrical.
Yeah.
You know, but they put on a good show.
Right.
You know, and they just make sure. Here's the key: make sure that all your stuff is in line. Everybody's where they need to be, and that the fighters that you have listed, at least 90% of them, show up. You know, that's all you have to do, in my opinion, to be successful. They don't do anything outrageous, but this guy was wanting to make a big spectacle out of it. And another thing, and I can't, you know, they let kids in that night too.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was what
It
was
was an
wild.
all-age show.
All
at the
age
Furnace.
show at the
strip
Furnace.
joint.
You should have seen. I didn't
that's
see no little
hilarious,
girls. I'm going to let you know. I didn't see no young ladies in there, but there was some young
boys.
boys in there,
God,
and they
that's
were
crazy.
just looking around, like, you know, trying to figure, you know, their little wide
What are
eyes
these
open,
poles
about
for,
13, 14 years old. They're like, so this is where Daddy sneaks off to. You know?
Yeah.
Because Daddy didn't have no problem finding this
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't use
Right. Didn't even
GPS
look
or
at the
nothing.
GPS.
And how do you sell that to your?
pretty
I
awesome.
mean,
To your wife for a Sunday
yeah,
night.
yeah.
Hey, let's skip church tonight.
yes. Well, there weren't a lot of wives in there that night either.
No.
If I remember,
I
it
can
was a
imagine.
lot of guys, a lot of swinging dicks in there, man. It was funny as shit.
Mama took Susie to church. And
Yeah.
Daddy and Billy went off to the
Make a
to the
man out of
fights.
him.
Right, we got a prayer
We're
meeting.
going to a
Yeah,
fight.
we're going to the prayer meeting.
Yeah. That was the only one they had
Yeah.
there. That was they only had about 5 fights too, if I remember correctly. It was a low card.
It wasn't. It was a quick show.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was wham bam. You know, and I can't remember who all fought. I don't remember anybody specifically.
I don't think there was anybody that was. There were no major players. I
Yeah,
don't think, in it,
yeah,
so
but it was goddamn. It was funny, man. I was just
it was
sitting there.
crazy.
I just remember Peter had that big old cast on his leg or something, and that was right. I think that was right when he was changing wives, if I'm not mistaken.
Changing
he
wives,
was changing wives. I think.
I'm between wives. Right?
Yeah,
That's
he was trying out the new one. I think right then because it threw me off when I saw a new one. I was thinking, who the fuck's this chick?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was going through a divorce, so he was getting a fresh start.
Well, yeah, there was some interesting stuff that always happens. You know, fighters are such interesting people anyway. Jeremy.
Well, why don't you? You know, you did a good job promoting fights. Is that something that just lost interest, or?
Yeah, I mean, well, it was it was tough, and then it got tougher when the state started really, and I went through that thing. I started reffing a lot in Georgia, and I just kind of enjoyed the rest. It's a lot of work to put on a fight.
It is,
and it was just a little bit much.
You have to gauge whether it's
Right.
worth the
Right.
money.
And I mean, and so yeah, it is like I said, or hence there would be more people putting on events now. I really wish they would. I think they need to revise it. You and I, we talked about there were some things again, not, I'm sure the powers that be have reasons why they do the things they do, but there's some things that could be done to make it a little bit easier on the promoters to do it.
I always talked about the fact that all the fees and this and that. And I understand they want to make money and stuff like that, but it's almost to the point where if you are pricing yourself out of work,
Right.
These guys, there's no guarantee in these promotions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, yeah.
You kick in for the venue,
Right.
so you got to think, people don't understand all that stuff's upfront costs,
Mhm.
and there's zero guaranteed sales
Right.
of a ticket,
Right.
and if you rent Boutwell, for example. I'll
Right.
just use that out there.
Right.
I don't know what they charge, but I'm sure it's in the thousands.
Oh yeah. Well, I think I don't know what they're even really doing there now, other than maybe like family reunions or something. Or maybe
The
these schools.
erotic art festival we went to the other night
Oh, did
was
you?
pretty fucking wild, and we will be discussing that
Well,
on
good.
next week's
Well,
show.
I'll be listening to
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
it was wild.
but anyway, well, that's really interesting. But yeah, I mean, a lot of things. I think that it's just hard on guys to do it, and then you got to know how to work it. Meaning you got they'll get guys to sell tickets. Guys that are fighting. You got to have local talent. You got to have local fighters fighting.
Well,
that's a
yeah,
big
because
thing.
that's
it.
that's when people
Right.
come and see.
Right.
Yeah,
You're going to go see guys at your school. I think at one time, if you got people that are affiliated with schools, at least loosely, that they're trying to bring a school up,
sure.
their kids or whatever
Well,
train there. I think that helps.
well, there's a couple schools in town, MMA schools that really they really hung their hat on making fighters, and there's a school or two that's really hung their hat on making jiu-jitsu competitors, stuff like that. So you got to find your niche, but if you're going to promote a fight, you definitely got to get those schools that want to build fighters. You got to get them on board,
Mhm.
and the problem that you run into with that, and this is strictly my opinion, is it's almost like having like kid with Amber about having regulars at the bar. You almost end up giving them too much control,
Right,
and it's amazing how they'll just be like, "Well, fuck it, my guys, and I'll leave." And this and that. It's kind of hard to be a promoter in
Right,
that sense. They really try to
Right.
throw their weight around. If you got a school that's got 5-7 good fighters in
Right.
there and can really
hmm
make your card heavy,
hmm
they start getting a little chest kind of poked out a little bit. Well, if you don't have us, you ain't gonna have shit kind of situation like that. So, politics wise, that's the hard part about doing a small local show. Whereas if you look at a UFC or a Bellator where they're pulling people from all around the world, that's when they have the ability to say, "Fuck you! I'll get a guy from over here. Or I'll get a
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
from over there.
Yeah,
I'll get a
right.
girl from over here."
Well, a lot of times you end up if you've got a local person with a good name that's good, finding another local person to fight that person to really commit.
It's tough.
That's going to be a decent fight. It's tough, and that's why you usually have to get guys from out of state to come in and fight your guy locally. And I mean that gets to where that just runs the cost up more for the event.
Right.
I mean in pro fights, it costs a lot more to run a pro fight card than it does an amateur. So what was always interesting is we'd be there and the people didn't know. They thought everything was just the same. So we'd have those little amateur fights and people would say, elbow him in the head,
Yeah.
kick, knee him in the face, whatever, and the
Yeah.
rules were not like that. And the crowd would be just rabid.
I never understood why we didn't. They
I mean-
would, man. They didn't get it. They didn't get
it.
it, man,
Funny,
because they would get pissed off. And I mean,
Get
the
about
fact
12 beers in them.
the fact
Yeah.
that the guy walks out with fucking shin pads on should have said, "Hey, this probably isn't the same
Yeah,
as the
yeah.
guys at the end of the card."
Uh-huh.
But I never understood why promoters, even today, I don't think they explain that. I think maybe it's just becoming more known now. They don't
Right,
have to, but at the
right.
time, they're. I don't know, man.
I think they thought it would hurt the sales probably.
Right.
They,
But I'm talking about at the day of the show,
At
like
the event,
have a banner up or something, explaining.
Well, dude,
amateur.
I've had them explain it. I've had the ring announcer explain it, and the crowd's just that. But the really thing is the majority, unless you're coming to see a particular fighter or you're a really serious fan, people are there to see violence. I mean, that's what
Right,
it is. They
right.
want to see they want to see a serious knockout.
Yeah,
They want to see somebody
blood.
right. Or a spectacular submission. But really, people want to see the violence of it.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd rather. That's why in the UFC. You see guys standing up more. Not that it's not harder to take guys down because everybody trains similarly now.
Right.
But guys would stand up. They want to get that knockout. They want to get that.
Well, they want to be flashy enough to where they become
Right.
popular
Yeah,
with people. They don't want to be the
Right.
guy that just clenches them to the ground and
Right.
just holds on to them. People
John
get bored.
Fitch.
Yeah, get bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, extremely talented, but their style is kind of
Yeah,
boring.
they're effective, but they're not exciting.
Right.
And so, but yeah, I mean, well, it may have been, I can't remember if it was the last fight I refed or whatever, but God, what's the guy's name? One guy was from Auburn, and the other guy's here in Birmingham, but they were fighting for the title at Strike Hard, and it was like 30 seconds left in the fight. And it was for the belt, and the guy from Auburn had the other guy's back and was just hanging on to him. Basically, had him around the waist and was basically almost flat on his back, and the other guy was just kind of sitting on him, and he wasn't doing jujitsu, right?
Right.
And I was like, "Dude, y'all got to do something." I said, "You got to." I said, "You got to do something. You got to escape, or you got to let him go because I'm gonna stand it up." And I yelled that to him for about 10 seconds, and the guy from Auburn's corner was right there, and he even yelled, "You got to do something, man! You got to do something!" Blah, blah, blah. I said, "I'm telling you, I got to stand you up because it's a title fight. It's the last round. This fucking thing's going the distance. I can't let it finish with the dude sitting on your belly, reverse cowgirl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I stand them up, and they duke it out for the last 15 seconds or whatever, and bell rings. And that guy's corner got so pissed off at me. Me and him had words after that fight,
Right.
and he was just heated, because of the passion of the thing. And I think it smoothed over quick, but I told him, I said, it's a title fight, man. I said, I can't, I got to stand. Well, he's great at jiu-jitsu. You should have let him do his thing. I said, he wasn't doing nothing but holding him in reverse cowgirl. I mean, I don't know what you want him to do. And he just looked at me,
Well, a lot, as a corner man, as a head corner man or a coach, it's your job to really, it's just like a pro athletic coach.
Yeah.
Your job is to really get the word out there that your guys are doing what they need to. Hey, come on, ref, do this. And, you and I both have had guys come up to us, hey, man, nothing, don't take none of that personal. I just, I got to stand up for my guy, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, sure, man, I understand.
Yeah.
You got to try to sell it to the judges.
Yeah. Well, the only reason me and him had an issue is after the fight was over, he was running his mouth to the guy that promotes.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, hey, don't do that shit. He looked at me like, what the fuck? We had words after.
Yeah.
I said, hey, man, if you got a problem, you see me. You don't go see the promoter.
Right.
I said, because I said, I'm the one that fucking did it.
Right.
And the promoter has no,
right.
He doesn't have any control over who's reffing.
Man, I tell you,
zero.
Refereeing is, sure, take it. There's a lot of guys out there that probably shouldn't be doing it, but it's a really thankless job to do it.
Got to do it for baseball.
Yeah,
little league baseball guys.
Yeah,
no
same
fucking way.
thing. There's somebody going to disagree with just about
everything
that you're going to do. You should leave them on the ground. You should stand them up. You should, different things.
I had a guy heckle me one time, and this was we did it at the BJCC, and it was at the damn man show. Remember that? You weren't. I don't think you were. You weren't part of it. I think you had dipped out.
That was a small.
Very small. They were going to do a little, almost like a 3-4 fight exhibition type thing. They did at the man show they had at the BJCC, and I was the main guy, main ref, and I had a guy heckling me about sucking, and I'm not even involved in the fight as far as I'm standing there, in the cage, and these guys are half-ass beating the fuck at each other, and the guy's heckling me, and I'll never forget. I said, it was in between rounds, and I looked over that way, and Walt Harris was standing right next to him, and I said, Walt, and I pointed, Walt, come here, and I said, Walt, I said, if he fucking says one more thing out loud, I said, tell him that me and him can talk after the show. Shut up, because it was so loud. It was such a small show,
right? And
I was more worried about it was fucking with the fighters.
Yeah.
And he wasn't saying shit about the fighters. And I'm just standing there watching these two knuckleheads, half-ass beat the hell out of each other. And he goes, come on, ref. Come on, ref. And I'm thinking, come on, what? I hadn't done shit. I hadn't broke them up. I'm just like, what the fuck are you got this motherfucker? And Walt went over there and said something to him. I don't know what he said, but the guy shut the fuck up. But I'm like, these two motherfuckers are rolling around on the ground. What do you mean do? Fucking tell them what to do.
Yeah.
It's like, but people are crazy.
Yeah.
People are nuts, man.
People are always, it's like finding good judges. There's some out there, but finding them that you don't go into a fight with a predisposition for somebody.
Right.
That's a lot of people do that. It's hard to probably not have that, think somebody's better or going to win. Not that you have favoritism, but in your mind you're thinking, oh, this guy's going to get killed.
Well, it's funny that you said that because it is hard because a lot of these local fights, they use a lot of the same judges.
Right.
Well, that's human nature. If I'm a judge and I'm watching Nathan fight, and I've watched him fight 6 times now. I've judged 6 of his fights, from amateur, to shin guards. Now he's getting ready to go. He went to advanced and getting ready to go pro. And I like Nate. I mean, it's just a natural thing. It's tough because it's hard to find judges, first of all, so it's hard to rotate out fresh, fresh mindsets and stuff like that. And man, that's why they say don't leave it to the judges, because
Brad is probably, as far as local judges, Brad. He always still does all the fights, I think.
Does his wife still do them?
Well, I don't know if she ever really judged. She was a great judge. I said, Tracy, you should be judging fights. You're awesome, because we used to watch all the UFCs with them, and we would always judge the fights, or whatever. And I said, I mean, she was so on it, and I mean, he was too, and he could look at it just as what it was, and that, to me, to have that ability and to recognize that is a great judge. I'm sure that but like I said, back in the old days, you had people that were boxing judging or whatever, and they would try to do the changeover, and they didn't understand it enough. Now everybody kind of understands it.
Right. I mean,
but you still have biases and you still have opinions.
Yeah. Don't ever leave it to the judge. You choke that motherfucker out, you knock him out, do whatever you can do, because, man, there's nothing worse than losing by a point.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, son of a bitch.
Son of a.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. So, but, I mean, I appreciate you guys coming out. I know it's getting a little late, but
we've covered the full gamut.
We went from Bigfoot to ghosts to fighting
goats
to goats,
emus.
I'm gonna look up some emu pictures in here one day, but But I like you guys coming in, man. I appreciate it. I know I kind of called to see if y'all were available at the last moment, but I'll definitely have to have you guys in on again.
Appreciate you.
That's fun, man.
I appreciate you guys,
Good
man.
times.
All right, let's get a little music going out of this thing.